Sometimes they don't, they make their own?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I mean, it is an artisan city after.
yeah, yeah. Well, if
So-
they're an artist, then they should be able to draw to scale too.
You would think.
I was thinking for the chef or someone who's opening a business who maybe isn't an artist and doesn't typically do graphics like
Totally.
that.
Yeah.
You know, that if they're having it produced, that's usually something you can request from the manufacturer.
That's a good thing to recommend. I think if you have a fabricator, just submit the fabricator's shop drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have that listed.
We ask them that. Whenever someone drops off an application, so one of the first things I ask is someone making a sign for you. They
Smart.
should be able to supply you with a mock-up. And it's, it explains everything. It's got the measurements, remind them of the descriptions of the colors.
Yeah. I'm just still surprised at the level of lack of quality of some of these submissions. It's just not to call anybody out specific, but it's almost comical.
Every municipality struggles with this. KRC helps many municipalities throughout the Hudson Valley kind of regulate so that Mercedes doesn't have to convey things to people as they come in. There's what you can put on your website, what's on the application form itself to try and spell it out, examples, putting together example packets that are also posted online next to the application so folks can see what you're telling them in the instructions. Doesn't always work with every application. You're still going to get the ones that Mercedes will have to guide, but
Yeah, and I like Mercedes' idea, and this goes down to kind of more of the process, but just a cover sheet checklist.
yeah.
So, yeah, definitely scale drawing, proposed sign with dimensions and in color. Specific actual samples of paint or other color, material colors. I think manufacturer and name helps. Because then if, we're not clear, if we need to look it up or something like that, we can do that. Specifications of sign bracket and hanging hardware. I would even say, more than specification, either illustration or same shop drawing, or if they're reusing, because sometimes this happens, a photograph of an accurate, clear, in focus photograph of the bracket being proposed to be reused. And then, either a picture or some other representative illustration of the facade, the full building, with the sign location positioned properly. Right? Meaning how high off the street and in scale, right? What else? What else do you think?
I think you have to show compliance. So you need to show the dimensions that are required, right? And the height and those that are explicitly laid out. So
Yeah.
you should say like 1, 2, 3, here's what you literally have to legally provide. The other thing I thought was, a lot of times I'm struggling, I've lived here a long time.
Microphone.
A lot of times I can't.
Right out of the gate.
It matters where the sign is, right? If it's in a remote location in a neighborhood, or if it's on Main Street in a prominent place. So, and I think this is something that should be consistently set up for other applications too, is a location plan in the city and a site plan. Well, you wouldn't need a site plan in this case, but just
For
so that
signs,
that.
Yeah, I mean, majority of signs are coming in for Main Street businesses.
Right.
So if we have the address and the photograph of the building, I think we can pretty, I don't know if we need to necessarily have a area map with an arrow.
Do we have exclusions? We have a list of exclusions, like TVs, monitors, things that we should not be coming in front
Those
of
are
the
in the
board.
code. Yeah.
Are there any exclusions? Things that can come in front of the board? For example, don't send in a sign that is a monitor.
I'm trying.
Monitor? Don't send in a monitor?
Oh, like
Yeah, like exclusions. Do we have
Yeah,
a list
things
of
like
exclusions?
LEDs are allowed.
Really?
Yeah.
Can we exclude them?
Is LED meaning electronic message display?
Yeah, under, yes.
What about TV screens?
Because LED can be the lighting of a sign, but you mean like an electronic changing message?
So now we're getting into what's required by
Yeah,
code.
now,
So
yeah.
that's all prescriptive.
All right, so that's already prescribed.
That's all laid out in our code, and
Got it.
hopefully applicants are,
It's in the code.
hopefully applicants are reading the code and understanding what is allowed and what's not allowed, and hopefully they're not
Obviously, they're
submitting
not.
something that's not allowed.
And if it's
Look,
not allowed, they can still submit it, they might need a variance to allow for
yeah,
it, but there's a relief valve. for-
Yeah, I
for
think that's
things.
where it's good to have Brian sit with us through these, because sometimes we do have questions of whether they're in compliance, so. What's that?
They're not permitted. LED, LCD, and neon shall not be permitted.
Oh, okay,
Sweet.
good, so that's in the code.
I would sort of agree that explicitly putting out the requirements and the exclusions, the things that they can't put on, is a great idea, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to help small businesses. And there's no reason it needs to be more difficult than it needs to be. It just needs to be compliant, and it needs to be
Right.
done as quickly as possible, I think, and as consistently, so that it's
Yep.
fairly done for everybody.
Well,
you
you're
know?
saving them a month's time. If things aren't clear and they come in front of us and it's like, our answer is it's not clear, come back next month.
Yeah,
You're killing a small business.
yeah, and again, look, I wouldn't want to necessarily create another cheat sheet that's repeating the code for applicants, only because, the rule of not writing the same information in a set of drawings twice, just in case something changes and you miss the first or the other one. So, look, people need to follow the code. It's as simple as that. So they should be, if they're submitting something, they should be reading code. This is about making it clear to them when they're submitting something that is compliant, we need in order to review it properly. So just in terms of submission requirements, beyond what we just described, anything else you guys can think of? Just in terms of what would physically get us to the point of a clear understanding enough to, in an efficient way, understand the application enough to render a yes or a no. And it's not often that we say no, except for when things are unclear or incomplete. So we good with signage?
Seems good.
Yeah. And then, so the other category,
Hang on one second.
yeah, please.
I apologize.
Oh, they are allowed.
They are non-residential. This stupid tablet's flipping all over the place. So sign regulations in non-residential districts. Notwithstanding the above, neon, LCD, LED signs may be permitted.
In,
Non-residential districts.
yeah, okay. That's great.
So maybe on the application form, I don't know if this is already on there, I haven't looked at the sign application, but does it tell people where, is there a link or a hyperlink to the code, the section?
That's a good idea.
We don't have to reprint the code, you just have to tell them, look at chapter XYZ of the, because I'm looking for it right now. I found a section on signs, but I don't think it's right, 183. I think I need to go into zoning and then find signs, so
I think
not
that's
everybody knows how to navigate E-code,
Yeah.
right?
That is a super duper great idea. I
Yeah.
think if we can pull out all of for certificates of appropriateness, just pull out all of the relevant sections and say, as part of your submission, make sure you review
Here's a check, yeah.
hyperlink, 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 hyperlink. Great idea. That'll start to make it easier for applicants.
Right, yeah, you shouldn't have to hire a consultant for this sort of thing.
Oh, you meaning you shouldn't need an architect?
Yeah.
Yeah, architects are overpaid anyway. Overhyped. So I think you meant to say HDLO.
Yeah.
For HDLO facade changes, elevation drawing showing existing conditions and proposed changes with dimensions and materials clearly identified. Called out, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like lots of times people come in with what they want to do, and, I find it difficult to understand what's there versus
Yeah.
what they're proposing.
Yeah, I think that's great. And then colors identified by manufacturer name and paint swatches. Yeah, same. Physical, and again, I don't know if a layperson knows what a swatch is. Hopefully they do, but we should just say physical samples of relevant materials.
And not everybody will have I feel like showing people a link to parcel access so they can pull their parcel card so they can show the parcel that they're property is on and
That's a
where
great
the
idea.
change is occurring, right? Like, you don't have to be in Adobe Illustrator, you just have to put it into PowerPoint or something and do a yellow box around like this
Or
is.
snippet.
But I think not everybody knows about parcel access, so you can direct applicants to that so they can pull their parcel card
That's a
and
good
work from
idea.
there.
Yeah. What else for HDLO facade changes? Yeah,
I feel like often we're asking about details of, just architectural details
yeah.
to be
Yeah.
more fully documented.
A depiction a physical depiction of any significant architectural details or all architectural details. Shutters, trim, door, that sort of thing, yeah. What else? Kevin, anything on
Yeah, I
facade
gotta,
changes?
I have to apologize. I could not get into my email account, so I didn't get access to your, when you have a chance, could you forward that to, do you have my Gmail account?
Let me see.
You do. I'm sorry.
Did you get caught up in the whole switcheroo and then switch back?
I have been swamped. I've been swamped. I've been pulling these really late nights too.
Okay. And then for single-family homes, so this is where I think we struggle the most. So area plan showing location and adjacent properties. Again, it could be as simple as parcel access.
Yeah.
Right? People don't have to, they shouldn't feel like they have to go out and hire a surveyor to, create a site plan. Parcel access, something showing the location, the site, and the, surrounding properties. And then, so you also have site plan here.
Just understanding where the house sits on the, where the proposed house is sitting on the lot.
Yeah. I guess parcel access could do that as well. Yeah.
Or if somebody has a survey, not everybody always has an accurate
Right.
survey of their property, but if somebody has a survey, although you're not supposed to mark on top of those necessarily, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say
I know
site
I'm
plan
saying
or
it.
survey if parcel, so again, parcel access could do it. I think a site plan or a survey would be redundant. Unless that survey is just of the parcel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we want to make sure that we've covered the surrounding context.
Could it include just a snapshot of Google Earth?
Could be,
showing-
yeah.
right? If sometimes it's wooded, you can't really see the structures, but in most of Beacon. you
Yeah,
can
so I
see
would
the
say
adjacent.
area plan or site plan representing location of subject property as well as adjacent properties. For example, parcel access snippet or Google Earth snippet.
Google Maps actually will show
Google
the
Ma- yeah,
structures.
Google
on
Maps.
lots. Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, so that I think we can even let them know both of those would be acceptable by naming them.
And should we include reference to some sort of context, right? That like a certain amount of properties on either side or the full block?
So, yeah, we're saying, this is all Karen. Karen's listing number 3, photographs of adjacent homes or buildings.
Directly adjacent to the parcel, or how
That was-
far?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's so, we kind of want to understand context, so even, and not necessarily all adjoining parcels, but, yeah, how do we define this?
Maybe within a certain 100, feet. Or,
Probably depends on the neighborhood.
it depends on the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
I think
I
you
mean-
typically, I think you're trying to get somewhere better, right? So if you're saying photographs of adjacent parcels, you're gonna, and then also an aerial plan, whether that be Google Maps or parcel, you're gonna start to get the context. And I
Yeah.
think there will be certain cases where you, because of the change in the neighborhood, you may need to say, okay, we need a little bit more zoomed out.
I'm trying to think of specific language.
They-
Adjacent properties representative enough of the either diversity.
Immediate context
Or the
or-
immediate, something like
Yeah,
that, yeah.
Or you could just say, 3 adjacent properties on either side.
That's
Just
good.
so it's a number and it's not, it's clear, it's a judgment call.
3 adjacent properties in each direction.
Like if it's a corner lot, you know, that
Yeah.
accommodates that.
That makes sense. That's actually, yeah, good. And then floor plans and all elevations with dimensions and materials identified, yes. And then again, colors identified by manufacturer name with, again, paint swatches, it should be materials samples representative of the majority exterior
That's also. right?
assemblage.
If you said like 90% of the surface area, okay, if you had something
Uh-huh.
definitive, I know that's,
Yeah.
who's going to measure that, but something like that is
Well, we could even say, I
Clear.
think this is an area where we want to get specific. Trim, roof, or siding, roof,
Garage, trim,
yeah.
it's on the application now.
So that's all there.
Right.
So let's look at that. If we draft this and compile it, if maybe we pull those in,
The list, yeah.
the list in. And then even that can act as somewhat of a checklist. Yeah, I think that's the only way to really do this is to get super specific.
If you give me 1 second, I can tell you what's on the right.
Thanks.
So it says color/materials, siding, roofing, windows. And for windows, it has 2 separate lines, color and type.
Yep.
And then it says trim, garage door, and then there's an additional line that says stone/brick.
masonry.
Yeah, I would say masonry if applicable.
Is the answer supposed to be yes or no to
No,
that?
it's
No,
just,
you're supposed to write
you-
the manufacturer, color name.
Oh.
That's what people tend to write.
yeah.
It doesn't specify that.
Yeah.
Very basic.
See, that's where I think it gets a little confusing. If we're writing the manufacturer's name on the application form, and it's not necessarily clear that they're also being asked to bring physical samples of those
Well,
in.
we tell them.
Oh, you do?
Or like-
And they still don't. Okay.
But then not everybody does it, right? Even if
Yeah.
you tell them, that's,
Well, then, look, I think what's great is that if we have this checklist, and the remit is, we're not going to look at it unless you have everything checked off on the list, please.
and it saves them and us time.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
that's
you
it.
don't get on the agenda unless you have all of the boxes checked. So it just saves them and us
Physically
time.
check those
So
boxes.
most communities that we do this for, right, there's an application form that they're turning in, and then there's the intake checklist
Yeah.
that serves as a deficiency list, right? So you're going through as this application comes in, names on it, phone numbers on it, materials are on it,
Yep.
what's in there. And if it's not, you circle something and that form goes back to the applicant of, these are the deficiencies, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, if you can create a form of that, because otherwise that's a lot of time of staff making phone calls, sending
Yeah.
emails, multiple emails to different, so I think a lot of this, although it sounds very simple, comes down to forms and checklists that can be
Yeah.
kind of more of a set process of, until everything is checked yes on this form, you don't get on an application,
Yeah.
you don't get on an agenda.
Cool.
Now, I have a question regarding the samples. So the way when I started working here, the way what I was told was that the samples are brought to the meeting, not to us, because we can't store them.
Yes, bring it to the meeting.
So even if that's on the checklist, I won't have the actual sample.
That's fine. I think if they bring them to the meeting, and then we should just make that clear.
Just a reminder that they have to bring them.
Yeah.
And we're only
Submit a photo
addressing
of your
residential,
application.
right?
Photo of the sample and
Appropriateness.
bring them.
Yeah,
Projects
exactly.
here?
This is,
Because I
this is the applications that fall under certificates of appropriateness.
Gotcha, okay.
And then, the other sort of larger agenda items that have architectural review, I think we've pretty much got that covered, or
Well,
we could
John
get more clear.
John used to use a form that was consistent. He had, I think, too complicated of a form back when we were doing this during
Yeah.
the COVID and all that, where he documented everything, right? In all in writing and some narrative. And it was something that he documented for every single application. And the usefulness of that, I thought it was like a little bit too much, like I didn't even read it, because he tried to make it a Swiss Army knife sort of list. But the nice thing about it is when there's questions that come up, it's like, we didn't approve that when you see it built, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, this is the documentation of showing what was actually approved. And they can use it as a reference to say like, or someone, a building department official or someone else can say like, you know, it was pretty clear we have this document and it's not like a gray area. You need to follow through on this.
Yeah.
So that there's an expectation that,
That's what the proposed elevation should be, right?
Are you talking about the, like the subcommittee report?
Yeah,
back in the day, yeah, we don't do that anymore, right? It's
Well,
all,
the subcommittee, it still exists. We just haven't referred an application to the subcommittee.
We did those
You know.
forms for 45 Beekman when it went to the
Yeah,
subcommittee.
yeah, exactly. But I'm just, I don't remember any other form, seeing a form that John Clark did other than the subcommittee. So I'm just wondering if
I
I,
think maybe that's what I'm referring to.
That's what- okay.
It was like a 2-page thing.
yep,
Yep.
yeah, the report from the subcommittee back to
facade.
the planning board.
Right.
Back facades,
Right.
right, yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's a good start.
And just so you're aware also, when someone submits an application for a sign, they must submit a sign permit application with it.
Yeah, yeah, and the fee, all that stuff.
That is the.
Yeah. Okay. So then, I know we haven't necessarily retained you for this specifically, but yeah,
I'm happy to help.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think next steps is let's figure out the next round of draft for this and then how to kind of put it into action.
Yeah, and based on what I've heard so far, I don't think there's any code requirements, code revisions that would be necessary. I pulled up in the Chapter 134 in the Certificate of Appropriateness section where it talks about the application. It talks about the building inspector transmitting any building permit application involving an alteration, construction, demolition of a historic feature or property. But it also says prior to transmitting that application, the building inspector is supposed to advise the applicant whether any additional drawings, buildings, material samples, or any other information is required that they deem necessary to assist you in your review. So I think as long as we're updating those forms,
Yep.
that's really, the building department telling the applicant, this is the additional information
Okay.
that the planning board needs. So
Good.
I don't think there's any code change that would be necessary to implement what you're talking about.
Thanks for covering that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, great. Anything else? Jim, Karen? Okay. All right, you got 5 minutes to cram in secret.
Oh,
No, I'm joking. I think we'll definitely, now
up for
2
the
minutes.
challenge. On that point, though,
Real
so
fast.
if we are going to cover SECRA at the next session, next month, what I'd like to do is do a little bit of the basics, right, for Jim's benefit, because I don't think he's been through one of the basics trainings yet.
Yep.
But also dive a little bit deeper and talk about, how do you determine significance? Like, what is a significant impact?
Yep.
And in that line, if there are any specific questions that board members have about anything related to the SECRA process, over the next month or so, email those questions to me, and we can try to address those next month as well.
My only question is, why do they have to make it so confusing?
Yeah, well, there's a big push right now to put
Streamline.
more things on the
Oh,
Type 2
even
list
more
and
things, okay.
to try to reduce the amount of review
Oh,
that's happening.
that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
That's good.
based on the bottlenecks that are occurring.
Yeah, it took me forever to figure out that a negative declaration was a good thing.
I know, it's kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, just negative.
Yeah. What's so negative about it? Why? Okay, so we have 4 members. I do know that Randall was excused,
David and Lynn?
but we're, I guess, anticipating our 2 other members joining us. I didn't hear anything. Did you hear anything before the meeting?
I just texted Jim.
Yeah, okay. But it is 7:30, so we'll welcome everybody to our April 2026 meeting of the City of Beacon Planning Board. We will begin with our first agenda item, which is public hearing and continued review of application for subdivision approval, 30 to 90 Mason Circle, artists live, work, self-storage, submitted by Beacon Lofts Member LLC.
Sorry, John, did you do the minutes?
Oh, forgive me.
Sorry, Jennifer.
Thank you.
I wanna forget.
I'm just so excited to get to our regular agenda. Yes, let's do minutes. Last month's meeting notes. Do we have any revisions to speak of? Otherwise, I'll accept a motion to adopt last month's meeting minutes into the record.
Motion.
Motion by Karen.
Second.
Second by Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. So, good evening.
Good evening.
Let's do first order of business for this application. That would be to
Address
open,
SECRA.
address SECRA.
Right, before we open the public hearing, because it is a subdivision application.
That's not
So-
on my notes.
Does that mean we can't do it?
Let's do it.
Sorry. So we talked a little bit about this at the last meeting. This is a little bit of a unique situation, but we've had a couple of these on your agendas over the years. There's no actual new or different development that's being proposed. What's being proposed is just adjusting lines on the subdivision map. So what we've done in the past and what I recommend that you do tonight is reaffirm the neg deck that was issued by the board in December of 2017. It's December 17th of 2017. That neg deck covered the development of this site and the site plan that's currently in effect. So all that would require is a motion to reaffirm the December 2017 neg deck for the purposes of this application.
Okay. Yeah, so due to the nature of this application relative to SECRA and its non-impact, I'll accept a motion to reaffirm previously approved neg deck for this application. Motion.
Motion to reaffirm this previously issued.
Motion by Kevin,
Second.
second by Karen, all in favor?
Aye.
And then we'll get to opening the public hearing, so I'll accept a motion to do that for this application.
Motion.
Motion by Karen,
Second?
second by Kevin, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Good evening. Jennifer Van Tile from Cuddy and Fader. With me tonight is Mike Bodendorf. If any questions arise about this subdivision. As Jennifer Gray has just presented to you, this is all about reaffirming the site plan approval that the board has issued in December 11th of 2018. So nothing is changing. All of the neighbors, including all the tenants of Beacon Hip Lofts, have been notified of the hearing tonight. So the emphasis is nothing is changing. I think the only issue before the board is why is the subdivision line where it is? And I think that's pretty clear also because the subdivision line is right along a changing grade. So Lot 3 is really of a higher elevation than the remaining part of the property. Additionally, Lot 3 is accessed from a different location. There is no vehicular passage between Lot 3 and that particular lot line of Lot 1. And Lot 3 is also the only parcel on which there is a as yet to be built building, which is a small storage building in the northwest corner. So I think that dividing line makes sense, and as you've also already discussed, this is an internal subdivision, which means it's basically for ownership and financing, and but it is obligated to maintain all of the obligations of the site plan, including access for other lots, all provisions of the site plan, et cetera. We have gone over the notes on the plot. There have been some issues today regarding the fine points of that, and certainly any approval that the board were to issue this evening would be contingent on resolving all issues and clarifying maps, descriptions, et cetera.
That's something to do with square footages, is that right? Or area?
It's about area calculations, and there was a CAD error, and John may have something to say about that. I'll defer to him, but we're trying to get a result. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So that concludes our presentation. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer.
Certainly. Yeah, so, great. We'll go to the public. Well, actually, first, let's just do a quick round.
I had no comments. There's no modifications to the site plan itself, so there's really no planning concerns from, as long as all the easements are in place so that all the services are still accessible by all the lots, there's no change to the
Yep.
planning component.
Great. Mr. Russo.
So as Mrs. Van Tile alluded to, there was some concerns with regards to lot areas. We've been working through that with their surveyor, and there was some errors within the descriptions. They recently sent over some new descriptions this afternoon, which we haven't had a chance, but they've been working through all the issues.
Yeah, okay. Great. Board, any questions or other observations? Okay, so we'll go to the public. If there's anyone here for this application who would like to share their thoughts, please do. Step to the mic, please share your name and address, and we usually have a 3-minute limit.
I won't take up much time, just Teresa Kraft, concerned resident. I know nothing has changed, but what has changed is the sensitivity of that Fishkill Creek, and I want it to be really closely monitored, that there's no runoff from those parking lots. And I really wish that we would see these projects in relationship to their environment in real time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'll wait the requisite 30 seconds, just in case someone last minute comes screaming in.
I hope they don't come screaming.
That would be great.
I don't know, I'm looking for some drama. All right.
It's early yet.
Yeah, that's right. Still on application number 1. So we will then talk about whether we want to close public hearing. Board?
I don't see any reason to keep it open.
No. Thoughts?
No problem.
All right, I'll accept a motion to close.
Motion.
Motion by Karen to
Second.
close. Second by James. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. And we do have draft resolution to adopt, shared by Jen's office. Anything we need to be aware of in terms of?
No, the only thing I would just add, getting back to the discrepancies in the lot area, the square footages,
Yep.
and my understanding it is just either a typo or a CAD error, it's non-substantive, but it does need to get resolved. It's just adding a condition that prior to the chair signing the plat, that issue will get resolved.
Yeah, so you've got that in there.
I just added
Yep.
it, yeah.
No
We can
objections?
send,
Yeah,
of course.
okay. Great. Any other questions on the resolution or otherwise? We'll accept a motion to adopt.
Motion.
Motion by Karen,
Second.
second by James. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice evening. Great. That brings us to our second agenda item, which is our continued review of applications of site plan approval and special use permit, 1064 Walcott Avenue, Hotel and Restaurant, submitted by J Mark Management, LLC. I can never get that abbreviation. I don't know, I feel like I need to read it, but
Well done.
good evening.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Taylor Palmer. I'm with the law firm of Cuddy and Fader as well, on behalf of JMARKMNG LLC. We'll do it that way. I am joined by our project architect, R.E.A. Siegel, as well as our project engineer, Mike Bodendorf of Hudson Land Design, our traffic consultant, Rich D'Andrea, and together with Jordan Podwall of Hemlock Lighting. We're also joined by the applicant. As you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, we are before you for our continued review of our site plan application and special use permit. As you know, the public hearing was closed after a few months, last month's meeting on March 10th. Following those discussions during the public hearing, we did continue to develop our architectural, engineering, and parking plans, as well as our lighting and other materials to address those comments from the board and help support the programmatic elements of the project. RA and Jordan will walk through those in just a minute, just to kind of lay those out. So before I turn to them, I will give you just a summary of what was included in our March 31 submission. So to assist the board in reviewing the consistency of the project with the HDLO criteria, as noted in Natalie's memo, we did add additional notes and certain photographs were incorporated into the plans to identify existing features, as well as the historic northern building, and to define features that will be maintained as part of the project or otherwise modified. Colors and materials have also been added, as far as the siding, the trim, and then sort of the architectural shingles and foundation and columns. Updated elevation drawings were also provided. There are a few other changes to the plans that Arya and Mike will review with you, but in summary, a detail has been added to the plans for a horizontal and vertical trellis in the vicinity of the condenser units in the rear of the addition. The connection between the rear of the existing southern building and the proposed addition has been modified to accommodate a reconfiguration and functional enhancement of the third floor restaurant space. And then additional and updated stormwater management plans and soil testing notes have been added to those plans. So lastly but not leastly, a new comprehensive lighting plan has been incorporated that tries to complement the project and conforms with the provisions of the city code with respect to fixtures, luminaire schedules, and photometrics which were provided, which Jordan will certainly touch on because we didn't get into that really at the last meeting. Some other brief updates. We did reach an agreement. We had noted we've been working on it and there's no excuse, Paul's back from skiing. So we did work with Riverview Funeral Home, so we do have understanding that the agreement for our 14 parking spaces at Riverview Funeral Home have been signed. We don't have a copy of it, but it's been signed, so the partially executed agreement. Of course, we've had a chance to review the draft resolution where that agreement and the signing of it will be provided to Jennifer for review. Separate from that, Colliers also evaluated existing and future parking demands. There was conversations with the board trying to understand the utilization of that municipal parking lot as it relates to other projects that may have been approved in the corridor, so we incorporated that into our submission. Colliers also considered a comment from Dutchess County regarding a potential crosswalk near the intersection of Walcott and Beekman and determined it wouldn't be the best location for one given the site distance in this area. So with that, I'll turn to Arya to go over the plan changes, and then we can have Jordan speak to the lighting plan.
So hang on, so
Yep.
who made the determination that the crosswalk wasn't appropriate? The applicant.
There's sidewalk cuts that the city has.
Yeah.
So our determination was based on draft guidance from the New York State Department of Transportation on site distance requirements for crosswalks. When you look at that location, and especially when you're crossing from the site side, there wouldn't be sufficient site distance because of the horizontal curve that's there. You can't pick up a person crossing or a car approaching of the person crossing in enough time to be able to cross. So that we used the draft guidance from DOT, understanding that we saw the comments from Natalie. We could request DOT to take a look at that. We have to go to DOT anyway for permits for this project. We have connections to the sidewalk. I think we have utility connections as well, and some signage that we're installing. So as part of those permits, we would just ask them to review that if they want to install, if they say, okay, yeah, we can install a sidewalk, a crosswalk here, we'll include that as part of the permit. If not, then we can have them just explain why they don't want a crosswalk there and document to the city.
Yeah, I mean, if you are having that conversation with them anyway, it may be best just to put top and tails on that part of the discussion. Like, I wouldn't want to necessarily, if the guidance says based on site distances, it's a less than, advantageous situation, that makes sense to me. But at the same time, to Karen's point, there's a number of kind of indicators to pedestrians that, hey, this might be a great place for you to cross.
I don't disagree that there definitely are curb cuts there, and I'm not sure why they were installed and never a crosswalk installed.
The state actually installed those.
I know they did, yeah. They're on the state record plans, but I don't understand why a crosswalk, I mean, my guess is that they determined after the fact that putting a crosswalk there wasn't the safest. But
And just as the other crosswalk up the way, north of this site that has the indicators,
Yep.
I would assume that if a crosswalk were deemed appropriate here, which again, all kind of indicators are leading to it, that there would be some traffic signaling associated with that.
I would imagine that if we did put a crosswalk there, DOT would want something like that.
Right.
So
So personally, this board member would like to see that kind of come to its full.
yeah, again,
fruition.
I think the best approach, in my opinion, would be as we're making our permit application,
Yeah.
we'll make that part of their review and
Okay,
yeah.
great. Thank you. Did you guys have more? I sort of interrupted your flow here. Yeah. Oh, it's just Arya?
Oh, sorry. A little more than me. Good evening.
Hi.
So, I think Taylor covered a number of the changes. We updated the landscape, we submitted the new lighting plan, and then we also submitted additional information. Hold on. Okay, there. On the elevation and, you know, and floor plans. So as Taylor mentioned, we did add a little bit of square footage to that connection area behind the south building, just to allow the restaurant layout to work out better. It's a small area, and it just expands the rooms on the lower floors. And then we added some additional notes about the difference between the north building, you know, the historic building, how we're trying to differentiate that. So it's basically the siding, we're using additional trim color, you know, to keep the original Victorian idea of, you know, like at the columns and the brackets and some of the window trim. And then we're keeping the original siding on that north building, so it's going to have a different appearance, even though we're keeping the same color there.
Yeah, so I'm seeing this building concept image, one of the sort of close-up of the porch, where it looks like you're starting to differentiate, you know, some of the trim detail and colors.
Yeah.
The door, some of the detailing on the columns.
Yep.
Does that extend itself to the rest of the building, just in terms of the level of description?
Well, on the north building, but we're trying to use that as what's, you know, one of the things that's different between that original and the new construction, so.
Yeah, no, I understand it.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is this is sort of a close-up cropped image of just the sort of portion of the porch of the north building. How does the sort of differentiation extend to the rest of the north building?
Oh, we're carrying that through on some of the window details. So it's basically everything, you know, that's the original north building has that updated, you know, trim that we just added, and we're keeping the original siding. So like on the north building, even though, you know, we're proposing to add that that addition to the south.
Yeah.
That would be the regular siding, you know, so even within the building, we're differentiating it.
Okay, and is that what you just described, is that described clearly? I don't see it.
Not on the rendering page, but on the elevation page, I try to list the various items that are.
Do we have the call out for that red?
The applicant wants to change that, actually, so we're going to update that.
Well, it's not on here, though, so
Right.
we're going to add it.
Yeah, yeah, just because we're still reviewing the color. But, yeah, so, you know, so basically we're trying to differentiate so it's visible, but not, you know, really popped out.
Yeah, from just that image and what you've described, the intent is headed in the right direction, just in terms of, you know, the goal of differentiating and making clear sort of the distinction between the original historic structure and the rest. So, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
I do, if you want to see it, we just got pretty much the same renderings you're seeing here updated, but they haven't been submitted, so I don't, you know, if you want to see the new and improved version, we can do that, but otherwise we'll submit them.
Just submit them.
Every month with you.
Is that a yes?
No, let's just submit them and we'll review them at our next meeting.
Okay.
We'll review them prior to and at our next meeting.
All right. And then
We don't like surprises here.
No.
REA.
We don't want to surprise you.
This is totally a surprise.
Okay. Yeah. So we did, you know, significantly change the lighting. So Jordan, the lighting designer, I believe, is going to speak to that for a minute.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Hi.
What's up, Jordan? How are you? So, the experience, I'm sorry. Yep, Jordan Podwall from Hemlock Lighting. The experience I was trying to create here was intimate, low light levels. For most of it, I'm below code as far as mounting heights go, as far as lumens go. I believe code for uplighting was allowing up to 600 lumens. I have a few fixtures that are at 600 lumens, the majority of which are capped at 300.
Great.
The intention would be to keep them all dimmable. Yeah, were there any specific questions that anyone had?
Are there any specific things you want to point out?
Sure, maybe we should bring up. He's asked if there's anything on the plan. Is there
I've got a question, and, I guess this is sort of basic, and maybe I should know this because I listen to this guy talk quite a bit about lighting, but the approach, and thank you also for the rendering, as it starts to give kind of a sense of the quality you're going after, and it's what I would imagine is, a nice kind of layer for, a building like this, and it starts to sort of set a mood and a tone, and that's, I think, great. It's all headed in the right direction. So my question's two-part. One, obviously you're meeting all of the code requirements in terms of life safety and lighting and those sorts of things, and that you're meeting the terms of, cutoff and all of that. So what you're kind of describing is kind of an additive in terms of that design layer, right?
Yeah, I mean, so we're cut off everywhere except for where the code allows, which is things like landscape lighting.
Yeah.
And in those cases, we're fully shielded. Fixture has a full snoot on it. Lumens are below the lumens allowed.
A full snoot?
Snoot is
sounds like
it's like a brim,
Dr. Seuss.
so to speak. Sorry, lighting tingo.
Yeah. Okay.
Lingo.
Full snoot. See, there's
yeah,
so much
snoot. I did.
It's like a
I love
top
it.
hat.
So this is the word of the month. Snoot.
Sure, snoot.
Okay, so I guess the question I have is, and I'm anticipating that the answer is no, but I'd love to just hear it, just relative to the impact of this layer of lighting to, neighboring residences. In this case, it's mostly residences. Is what? Inconsequential? Kind of describe
Minimal
that
to
for me.
none. So we have, I have on my calculation page, there's 3 spillover areas. There was no specific code requirement for the max amount of spillover, but I mean, we're incredibly low. I'm going to say 0.2 foot candles at most.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right, I trust this guy.
Yeah.
That looks good.
0.23, 0.17, 0.010.
That sounds low.
We're very low, yeah. As far as all of this lighting, none of it is really impacting the neighbors.
Yeah.
And this is being modeled as if the property were flat. Since we're on a steep pitch, that pitch in itself is going to act like a shield.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
It's significantly better, thank you.
Right.
One of the things I do have a question about, and I saw it was the LF7, the uplights for the trees.
Sure. So that's the small flood fixture that I'm
Yeah,
using.
yeah, those are great. So
Yeah.
you're using both a snoot and some other kind of baffle or something inside of there?
I wasn't using a baffle. I think one of them-
Honeycomb or anything like that?
No, I mean, I felt like the snoot was enough. Do I have? Oh yeah, one of them has a micro louver.
All right, great.
2 of them, actually all but one has a micro louver, and I'm sure I had a reason why I didn't want to use that on.
I don't think we're looking to tell you whether you use them, it's just the fact you use them.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
The magic's in the
While I
accessories.
was designing 100%. always
Totally,
looking for
great.
that. Yep.
When these get planted, are we planting like small trees that will grow? Or are they full-size trees that are being planted in place? What's that situation?
I'm sure they're small.
They're probably small, right?
I went based off the rendering.
Yeah, no, I figured.
They
And
should be dimmable.
The reason why I ask, because there's 2 things when we're doing uplights in trees, especially when they grow, is one to have a kind of an adjustable beam spread, either that can be pulled out, replaced, right, but you gotta break some gasket in usually. But there are ones that have like adjustable kind of throats on them that can increase and decrease beam spreads. So when the growth is small, you can keep it tight, and when it grows, you can just kind of right at the fixture, open it up wider. And the divot, absolutely, yes. It doesn't have to be 0 to 10 volt if it gets too crazy. I mean, you could do ELV if you had to.
Yeah.
Right, but dimming is great because especially if we're going to grow and the canopies are going to get larger.
I think I probably tried to keep the entire exterior 0 to 10.
Yeah, I mean, either way, we're not going to tell you what to do with it, but like, you know, just the dimmability is great.
Yeah. I'd have to check. I don't think the fixture is field adjustable as far as beam angles. You may be able to swap out lenses, not as ideal. But I could certainly, you know, we could relook at that.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing to just consider is
Yeah,
the beam spread comparative to what the growth is when it plants and when the growth is when it grows, and how many years in between that's going to take.
And then are we looking at smaller saplings with the idea that we're larger?
I mean, I don't have the exact planting, but they are going to start like medium and then grow.
Got it.
They're not going to be tiny, but
Yeah, so just consider that when you're figuring out that specification, which is great. Otherwise, it's really coming along. I think you got a couple different layers here, right? You got your path, you got your tree uplights, you got your, you know, everything else that goes along with it. It's looking nice.
And that was one of my questions. You mentioned dimmable. All of the exterior fixtures within this sort of layer are dimmable?
Not all, not within the layer. All of them are dimmable.
They are? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so all of them are dimmable.
We have some kind of time clock that goes along with it as well, eventually.
That's very open-ended, yeah. But that would be the ideal, I guess. It's whatever extent. But I think I'm calling out for, hopefully, you know, a dusk to dawn as well as dimmability.
Great.
Okay.
And otherwise we're you know, a major focus on not seeing the fixture.
Yep.
So the pathway lights are in grade. They're about 100 lumens each. So a very small little bump coming out of the sidewalk.
Good.
With like a triangle of light coming out. The idea is creating wayfinding. I'm not trying to create even light levels all the way across like I'm lighting a hospital corridor.
Yep.
Thank you.
That is kind of the overall concept everywhere, even to an extent the parking area, right? Like I'm not using big flood fixtures that are type 2, type 3. I'm using, you know, essentially barn light fixtures on a pole.
I was going to ask, can you walk us through that rear parking area? Because I think that's one of the ones that we've been talking about the most behind the buildings because it's closest to those properties behind.
Sure.
Right, so it's yeah, back there. If you could just walk us through. So you're saying those are the barn light fixtures, the
LF4s.
LF1s.
LF1s, yep.
Oh, LF1s, sorry, LF1s.
Yep.
The LF3s are bollards, right?
5, I have 6 back there.
Uh-huh.
And then directly over the garbage shed enclosure,
Yeah.
I have a more utilitarian fixture with a built-in aux sensor. So it's a full cutoff wall pack, nothing pretty looking. It should hopefully disappear and be installed within the fencing around the dumpster there. So the idea there was that it would be normally off unless if there's movement.
Motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
It also the one I specified happens to be just, you know, Bluetooth enabled, so somebody could always adjust timeout settings, motion sensitivity, all that stuff could on the fly be very quickly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You said the LF1 was the barn light style? So the distribution's just 360?
The type 5, if you will, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe if you could run again too, if you look at your calculation page on the back sides of the LF1 on this page, there's a lack of calculations that go on the back side of the fixture.
Oh, so you're saying you want to see on the grass behind the...
Well, I think so. I mean, we're making some assumptions here that it's only going to be 0.036 past the fence line.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. You just if you can open up the calculation bit a little
Yeah, I
bit.
mean, I can pull the spill calc into or just create another spill calc for not spilling on property, but the space between.
Totally.
There you go. Got you. Okay.
Nice. Spill caps and snoots.
My grandma used to wear Type 2s, Type 3s, Type 5s. It's a fun night.
I know what an aux sensor is.
Yeah.
What else we got?
The only unfair thing I'm seeing about that is by doing that, the property, there is retaining wall there, and it's being modeled flat. So it's really, by adding it in many of those spots, it won't be as accurate
Oh, gotcha.
as real life, right? Real life will be much more forgiving than what I will be showing you.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Right, like
And
the
I'm sorry,
retaining
one
wall will
last thing
act
is,
as a,
On the right-hand side of the property, kind of like, mirrored left where there are no light fixtures, is that just, you don't want to add anything in there?
I was told there's really no need for lighting on that side of the property over there.
All right.
Yeah, that was,
Cool. No pathways, no walkways, no little jump and grab you corners?
no, there's grass or drums. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Looks good, Jody.
Great. Yeah, I appreciate the artistry, and there's nothing like, a properly lit and thought through, approach, especially for a facility like this. So, yeah, to the applicant and to, your team, great job and thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, there is one, there was one municipal luminaire that's missing from the plan. It's no big deal, it's just if you wanted to grab it.
Which one?
It's between.
It's right in front of the building, along the sidewalk, and there just might be some interference in the planting plan.
Isn't that, so I show 4.
There's one to the left of that.
There's one more to the left?
There's one
Yeah, right there.
pretty much in front of the building, not all the way over there.
Oh, so
What's the difference?
you think it's in the wrong location?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there is another one in that general area, in reality, but there is definitely one in front of the building. So I just want to make...
The existing building?
Yes,
Okay.
in front of the north building, there is a street light, and I just want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the planting plan or the walkway.
Yeah, that it can work.
Yeah, it looks like there's a gap.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yep.
Natalie, did you have comments you wanted to highlight for us?
Yeah, I think just going back to RA's comments on the elevations and the renderings, that's the majority of my first comment, and this kind of gets back to what Kevin and Karen were talking about with the COAs and stuff like that, right? Is the contract, if you will, about what is being proposed is the elevations, and there's still inconsistencies, right? So in the rendering is where we see this red detail that we're saying is a distinguishing factor, but in the elevations, there's no call out for that. And I added a few other examples in there where it says, the call out says, paint existing trim and porch posts. Paint them what? Are we painting them existing, we're painting them a new color, or it's, replace existing roof shingle? Are you replacing in kind? Are you replacing what's new? Like, what's there and what's being proposed, I think, is still the aspect we're missing. And the reason why I keep harping on that for specifically the north building is because the section of the code, we have to know exactly what is the historic detail and whether it's changing or not. And it's still some aspects of that either we do color rendering, so it's very clear in the colored rendering, the colored elevations, rather than the photolistic, right? Okay. But right now, we're having to piece together multiple pieces to figure out what's being proposed besides what you tell us at the meetings. And it should be displayed on the record so that when you file for building permits and everything like that, it's very clear about what was approved and what was not approved. So that's the main comment. Again, I think we already talked about the crosswalk. I think I understand the points that there is a recommended distance of 635 feet, but we have 435 feet and then 200 and something feet, and people are crossing there because there's curb cuts. Right. So even more so because of the lack of sightline and the fact that we are encouraging folks to cross in that area, and now there will be more folks crossing, hopefully walking from the train to get this establishment, kind of screams a little bit more so than anything that there actually should be protections there if the sightlines aren't great. So I think I appreciate the willingness to ask DOT what can be done there to make sure that that's a safe crossing for folks. I think we talked about the screening. Again, one of the big areas in the code is like the screening of the parking facilities. And so I think the lighting conversation that we just had right now was very helpful to kind of explain what's happening back there. I think while we do have the 2D elevations of the rear of the building, I think something that was asked because the neighboring properties are so close to the rear portion of this was some kind of view of what the screening. I think we talked a lot about the elevation changes and stuff. It's still hard to fully grasp what the view from these neighboring properties is going to be back there and whether it's properly screening the refuse area as well as the parking. Obviously, you don't have to screen an entire building. There's nothing in the code that says neighbors can't see a new building, but what are they seeing in terms of the parking facilities and the trash enclosure?
And mechanical.
And mechanical. And then the other thing that I didn't see noted is at the last meeting, I think there was a discussion or a request to look at the potential for street trees. And I just didn't see any comments or notes about that being considered along the, I do recognize and applaud all the landscaping that's occurring on this site, and I think it's really beautiful, especially with the lighting. But there is this kind of edge and connection with Wolcott that isn't really kind of being discussed, and there is provisions in the code to request street trees. That's it.
Great, thank you. Mr. Russo?
We have one quick question.
Oh, yeah, please.
Sorry, Natalie, on the street trees, are you talking about on the building side of the sidewalk? Like
in the street lawn, right? So we often request from developers that if you're doing improvements, that you beautify the street beyond your property line within and consider street trees. So I don't know if you guys considered that. Maybe there's something precluding that, but it was requested at the last meeting. I just didn't see discussion of that.
Okay. Yeah, I think Deborah had a question about what side those would be on, but if you're saying like on the curb side.
Yeah, I don't know if you have different proposals for us. Let's hear it. But I think it was more of kind of creating street trees. Typically go between the sidewalk and the roadbed, right, and the right of way. So
okay, now I'll clarify that. Thanks.
And the only other piece of that is...
Don't even start with me about opposing street
Yeah,
trees.
they don't necessarily need to be there if there's not enough room, but providing trees on one side of the sidewalk or the other.
Or if you can't, I just didn't see the conversation about that.
I just was asking Rich from a site distance issue, that'll be the only other question. So, I mean, that will obviously have no issue looking at it.
They can be limbed up.
Stages.
Mr. Russo?
All right, so we did review the latest stormwater pollution prevention plan. We found it acceptable. There was one minor error. They can correct that. We have some cleanup comments on it. But one of the questions I had for REA was, in the southern building REA, I don't see a sprinkler room, yet your main water line is coming in on that side. I see a sprinkler room in the northern building. Are you bringing the water in the southern building and running it all the way through to the sprinkler room in the north?
Let me check the labeling, because we had a room.
You did, and then it disappeared, and now the plans are telling me that the sprinkler room is in the northern building on the first floor, and I'm not seeing anything in the southern building where the water line is entering.
No, check that, because I know we had that in there. It might just be a label thing, or is Van Tile said a CAD issue.
I don't know. All the rooms have been labeled out now and show bedrooms and everything else. I don't even see a room for...
It was originally in that connector area, but I'll make
just
sure.
Just take a look, because I see it.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Yep. Board?
I have a few issues on the planting plan. There's an existing tree to remain on the lawn of the north building, close to on the property line, but it's not being shown in the planting plan. It's the more southern one. There's two trees that are existing to remain on the property line, so the southern one is not being shown in the planting plan. There are some sizes that need to be called out for trees in the plant list. They're left as to be determined at the moment. I don't believe either the trees that are on the main lawn right in front of the house, those three that are indicated that they're existing to be removed, I don't believe they exist, but maybe they're just in the wrong location on the plan. And then there is the street lights. Can you verify that the street lights are actually in the correct locations? I think that's it for now.
Thank you. Anyone else, board?
Yeah, I'm concerned about the change to the connector between the existing newer building and the new construction, right? That originally, one of my concerns about this was that it presented as a really large institutional-looking building. It was out of scale with the rest of the residential and Victorian-scale buildings, right? And one of the things that I was appreciated in the redesign was that the Victorian-esque, newer residential building was separated from the other building distinctly by a connector, right? Right? And now the plan seems to be, and the elevations seem to me, seem to be getting rid of that distinction, that separation, and threatening to make it look like a much larger structure and not like two Victorian-type houses with a addition to them, right? With a small connector adding to them, so that as much as whatever detailing is retained or added on there, it still is going to seem much more massive than what had been presented before. So I'm kind of concerned about that. I think that even if you draw it differently, that the silhouette and the massing, when you go by it on the street, and in reality, when it gets built, is going to be it's going to be read much more massively than it had previously, when there was a more a smaller recessed like corridor connecting the two buildings.
Kevin, are you talking about the part that's where the vertical board and batten is? Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now, it's drawn in a certain way where it looks distinct, and maybe it'll be in shadow, but I think that if you look at the massing, the way that the plan actually would work, I think that and the way the roof line is pretty much the same all the way, with a very small distinction. It doesn't, it doesn't have the same effect that it had previously. And that was the thing that I was immediately concerned about with this, and then I was like, I thought it was a big improvement. That's one of the critical things, I think, to reduce the scale of this building, which I think is going to be jarring because it's the way you look up at it, all this other thing. It's going to be a large building, and I think that was baked in. We just have to reduce the visual impact of that, which is what people are going to react to, you know?
And if I may, just to elaborate, what was it that you liked when it was in the prior iteration versus current?
The roof was distinctly lower in the connector. It was recessed, and I'd have to look at it exactly, but it didn't have the same visual. It looked like a small connecting corridor, if I recall right. I don't have it. I have copies of it. I can pull up.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to help REA.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if you have to reduce, if you wanted to have additional floor space, right? I'm sure that there's ways to design that so that you maintain that, the distinction of the two masses, right?
And just to clarify, you're talking about that little bit of expansion that we had.
Yeah, hang on, I may have misunderstood, but so, just so we're clear, the connector is the connector at the south cluster, right?
Yeah.
And my understanding was that the additional square footage was toward the rear of the building.
Right. Yeah, everything's towards, I don't think you'd see it from the front elevation at all. It's behind the existing building, and we just expanded the footprint of this house.
I'm not sure about that. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at the elevations, the difference in elevations, because it really does seem to me like that. It's like the two buildings are now mashed together rather than having a separator, a visually separate in the elevation.
I'll look at it too, but I don't
Yeah.
think the front elevation changed, because it's all behind the roof.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the same sort of instinct looking at it. At least, I know you described it, and again, I interpreted it as, or I heard you as saying that it was impacting the rear of the building, not the front. And looking at the elevation, at least my memory serves that what you're doing here in the front hasn't changed.
Yeah, and unless there's something on that
I'm trying to pull up the one from last month right now, so. I
Yeah.
can look
The
at
the other problem I have is that there's got to be a way to reduce the file size so that I don't crash every time I look at these resumes.
It's gigantic.
Because it's like they're incredibly heavy file sizes, and I still can't read the text when I zoom in. So I'm wondering if there's a way to manage that to help us out.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on that. It's all from the landscape plan.
I'm wondering if we break up the files or something like that in some way that it makes it, because I just crashed again, and it makes it difficult for me to.
Can I ask you a question? Only because I'm just kind of noticing it now. On the turret on the existing building, the north existing building, it looks like there was intended to be a I don't know, lightning rod, crenellation, decoration, whatever you call those things, but it's not there anymore. Same sort of element that you added to the new tower entry roof.
To the center.
Yeah. It just looks like it's missing a thing.
Let me check. I don't think we changed it, but if it's existing, we're not proposing to remove it. So.
No. I'm just curious if it's not there,
Right.
if at some point it had been, it looks like it had intended to be a location for one of those.
Yeah.
You know where I'm talking about. Because there's only one turret
Right.
or tower, whatever you.
Yeah, I don't think it's showing on there, but I will let them confirm, if it's not an existing one, we're not showing it.
Or the existing one was removed somehow and I don't
That
know.
wouldn't be the intention.
It wouldn't be the intention to, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was still focused on this is
that, yeah.
proposed, this was previous. So if anything, I think we lost some windows in the window, right? This is the area I'm looking at. This is your current proposal for the connection. This is the previous.
Yeah, I just, the view of that doesn't change at all from the front. I moved the windows around a little bit because I think some of them were sort of like getting tucked into a corner. So it's just like some minor adjustments of window locations.
I recall.
Well, there's
even-
5 windows on one and then there's 2 on the other.
Yeah, and there's some that are tucked in, you can't see.
So the one you're pointing to is the most current?
This is the most current.
Right, I remember that from even a few iterations.
So this
ago.
is like, yeah.
It's the same massing.
Oh, same, yeah.
Yeah.
And I personally agree that the, reduction in windows takes a lot of the visual clutter away. And I think the change in the new iteration, the change in material helps to make that demarcation as distinct as it needs to be. So, I mean,
Yeah, it's just looking, because I know that was an area of concern from the front, and so,
Yeah.
so basically, we're trying to clean it up and just get it to have the visual clutter. But yeah, I think the only thing changed from the front view is the windows.
right.
I also just have another just cleanup issue on your rent. Thank you for looking at the traffic flow at the Port Cochere. I think it works better the way it is now, but your renderings are still having the car come through the Port Cochere in the old direction on a number of them.
Not the ones I have in my backpack.
I'm going to have to bite my nails and wait.
Okay. Anything else, board?
Sorry, going back to your comment, Chair, it was about the detail on top
Oh.
of the turret of the existing
Yeah.
north building, existing turret. There's like a
Whatever you call those things.
Inspired.
I should know this stuff, but
You should know more than I.
yeah, I
I-
think we'll call it
Weather vane.
Weather.
weather vane or
Weather
some
vane?
kind, meaning, yeah, it looks like the intent was this, that originally they're, just the way it's sort of lopped off that way, originally that there, it feels like there should have been something there. Or there was something there that was removed. Huh?
Like a whale or rooster?
Whale,
I'm sure some,
Chicken.
a visit to the Historical Society with some pictures might
What
clear
are-
that up.
I
Or
would
the
just be
arches from the
curious.
old Toronto Bridge?
I would just be curious if there was something historically, originally there. If you could find that out, and if you had the wherewithal
Spyglass,
to
it's
put
going to be the inn
something
at Spy Hill.
back there, it might help balance It's just that final,
Chef's kiss,
Chef's
like the kids call it. Yeah.
pièce de résistance. All right. What else?
Well, we do have a draft resolution, but I know we have some cleanup
I
items.
knew you were going to ask. I was going to wait for you to mention it because I think,
How could I not? I should have started with it.
I don't know. Well, let's talk about it, board. We do have the draft.
I think there's cleanup to
I think
do.
there's a lot of cleanup to do.
Yeah. I'm not inclined to make a motion.
Nor am I.
Okay. You heard it from some majority of the board, including me. I think let's wait
It'll be
till next
really,
month.
really final for our 12th meeting next month. How about that?
You'll hit a great milestone, exactly a year in production.
Precisely. That's it then.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. So we will then go to our next agenda items. The continued review of applications for subdivision approval and site plan approval, 193 to 195 Main Street, residential 6-unit multifamily dwelling submitted by Kosovo Lane Properties. Hello again.
Well, hello again. Good evening. Taylor Palmer with Cuddy and Fader on behalf of the applicant. I am joined again by R.A. Siegel, our project architect, as well as Mike Bodendorf of Hudson Land Design, and our traffic consultant, Rich D'Andrea. The applicant is not with me right now. To that effect, as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, we are here for our continued review, and we also have had a chance to review the draft approval resolution for this application. So, as you know, the public hearing was closed at your last meeting. Since that meeting, we have continued to refine our project to incorporate the comments from the board and the consultants to try and enhance the overall project function and design. Before I turn it over to REA, I do want to mention briefly the changes that are noted in our March 31st submission. As suggested by the board, the applicant explored additional ventilation options for the trash room. The door of the trash room has now been replaced with a louvered hollow metal door frame that allows to facilitate air flow and ventilation. It will also be mechanically vented. Additional details to the refuse and recycling management have been provided, both added to the plans in correspondence with Royal Carting, who's the waste hauler for the site. Royal Carting did also visit the property with its waste hauling truck. All right. Sure. Go for the full sound.
Those poor neighbors.
There's no sound apparently. But you can use your imagination. Beep, beep, beep. So what RA has on the screen is the truck backing into the site. So I think one of the comments on the board, of course, was where are these trucks going to go? How's it going to work? Well, it's going to pull into the site, and the trash haulers are going to remove the bins from the actual enclosures and do them and then return them. So they're not going to appear on the street. They're going to be done on site, trucks off site, out of the way. Let's do it. The landscaping plan has also been revised. Aria, you can shut that down, please. Landscaping has also been revised to incorporate publicly accessible landscaping areas, which includes 5 planter boxes along Main Street. As Natalie suggested, we turned to Main Street to try and plug in some additional greening there. So here's the math, and we know how well I do math. If we include the full permeable pavers for the site, that would make the total landscape area 10.7%, which would just meet the landscape requirement sort of on its own. At the March 10th meeting, we sort of discussed the potential for how we could calculate or take credit, so to speak, potentially for the landscaped area, or the pavers, I should say. So if you were to say, theoretically, that we only took credit or received credit for half of that permeable paver area for the driveway, then your percentage would be 8.5%. And then just to play the math game all the way through, if none of the permeable paver is accounted for, we are at about 6.2% landscaped area overall. Of course, in the city's code, there is a requirement of a 10% minimum for CMS parcels, but that is also mitigated by a requirement that the board shall reduce that to 5% if the landscape area is accessible to the public, and that's a shall. So we're hopeful that we can find direction on how to treat that permeability standard and I guess the grass area. Just a few quick other updates. As we discussed during our February and March meetings, we are going to include a fixture on the abutting property at 8 Cliff Street to better illuminate the driveway, and we have an agreement signed to that effect. That went along with the driveway easement for the little corner there to make sure that trucks like that could navigate without trespass. Further, we did receive some materials. While we won't expect you all to review them per se this evening, they were John Russo, I'll call them cleanup items, that he's been asking for some time, that we've just submitted to you all so you have it, but they would be final designs for, John's shaking his head, but we have updated the survey so we depicted easement areas, as well as submitted a formal lot line consolidation plan.
So let me stop you with regards to the access.
With that,
easement.
that concludes my presentation.
Better.
You sure you don't want to mention the resolution again? So you have this access drive that goes back to your property, but you also have the 1.5-story concrete block garage that your neighbors are using the same drive to access that.
Yep.
There's been nothing presented on the plans for that easement or their ability to use that existing drive to get to that garage.
Just so I understand, what's the nature of the concern? That if a truck were to stop to
No,
do
your
garbage?
neighbors have a garage
Yeah,
that they use this alleyway to access,
right.
but there is no easement provided to the neighbor here to allow for access. There's nothing on the plan showing access to the neighbors to
You want us
access their
just to
garage.
highlight that they have the
Typically
right.
a hatched area or something that
Well-
says access easement, or there's usually
Let me get
like
to the
a-
other drawings
Okay.
that you just resubmitted.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get clarification, but that, again, is something we can, again, we're not taking away. We've discussed this with both neighbors.
Yeah, this is on the survey, but it doesn't show. So who's got the plans? RA?
What's the survey?
So the triangular portion,
Yep.
there's a paved area there. They're coming through, the current access easement goes back to the rectangular portion and...
Yeah, as we noted, there was no indication, period, in the history of these documents that provide for what their easements are. It just says they have a right to ingress and egress.
But this would be the time to present and formalize these access easements, have formal descriptions, documents to formalize your neighbors being able to get down this right-of-way to their garage.
Not,
The easement is
that's not
for
necessarily
ingress
true.
and egress, you said?
All it is
right?
is ingress,
Yeah.
egress, yep. It's an existing easement that they just have the right over it's our clients, it's the applicant's property, but they have a right of ingress, egress. It has no indication of how that, to the extent of
Yeah,
what
and I
is the
And
ingress.
I think part of what John is saying is that we need to
No,
see that on the
this
plan.
is a sliver, sorry, go ahead, John.
Yeah, I think part of what John is saying is we need to see that existing easement on the plan.
Right,
so
but there
that we-
is, I guess that's the
He-
point.
he's
The
saying there's no
area.
There is no
defined-
description.
But-
of
So
this
is
area.
there any notation on any of the plans that indicates that that easement exists at all?
I believe
for
so,
ingress
but
and egress?
I think it just mentions that there is an easement. It
Yeah.
doesn't, but John is asking for it to be delineated, but it's not delineated in the privately recorded, their rights that exist.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't go beyond that. We would just say that they have a right, and it's identified
So-
in this document, and there would be, that's how they would, anyone that was trying to find out more about this, or what rights they have, they would go to the same documents we have, which just says, you have the right to ingress and egress, which we're not removing through this application.
So the Divers and Nixon have the ability to come down this right-of-way and access this garage? Is what
You're not
That's how
doing
they've
anything
axed-
to cut off or block.
Yeah, we're not
their-
changing,
their-
no
there's
one's changing it.
curbs,
Yeah, nothing's
there's
changing
no-
there, no.
Yeah.
Unless I'm missing something, but nothing's changed in that access. This is, all we showed was that a truck got back in there.
Because even the right-of-way is just basically showing from Cliff Street to the squared-off portion of the right-of-way.
Right, 8
before it
Cliff will
actually
still have
turns.
their access, and the folks that, I think it's 10, whatever the next number up is,
I think
they have
it's
their,
10.
which is the garage, right, 10, have their access. But nothing is defined.
Is the existing easement recorded against the little lot, just the Cliff Street sliver? Or is it also recorded?
Yeah, it's recorded only against the sliver.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. So I think you could make a notation to indicate that it covers the sliver.
that would be changing the nature of the private agreement, I suppose. So I can certainly speak to the applicants, but that would be not per se conditionable by the board. It can be asked for, but it's a private agreement that exists amongst neighbors, and they have it, and it's being maintained, and it's not being changed.
But where there's no delineation, presumably, they could use it for ingress and egress
Right,
over
they may have more-
any portion of that lot.
Right, this may be limiting their rights if we put any defined area. If they had some other claim to say they have more, if anything, this might be limiting their rights to utilize the area. So I think we would leave it as this is what's listed in the existing documents of record, and theoretically, sure, it can be.
And there is a notation on the plan with the library and page number.
We'll reconfirm that, but I
Yeah.
understand that was added, that was the submission that was included yesterday to try and address that
Oh, yeah, we
question.
haven't looked at
Yeah.
anything from yesterday.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing it all. I mean, it may be calling out,
But we can make it very
putting a
clear.
call out
Yeah.
that they have the abilities to
Yes.
access over
Yep.
this area.
Yeah, we could
just-
specify lots 8 and 10 have an ingress egress access per lib or page, which is what we would traditionally do.
Right.
Yep.
10 has access to their
Yes.
garage.
Right. Yep.
When was that
We can add that
easement
note.
originally recorded, do you know?
We submitted, I don't have them in my hands, but we included them in a submission. So the easements themselves or the deeds that have the references are included in the record.
That was a few months ago.
Okay, yeah, all right, is there, in terms of the sliver parcel, is there any, I mean, unless I'm missing something, there's no other place, an ingress or egress right that would at least accommodate a typical motor vehicle could be situated, is there?
To get to the rear, to that garage?
Yeah.
Well, that property fronts on Cliff Street, so they already have access there, but no, I don't think they could get to their garage but for that ingress egress through that little sliver.
Okay. My recollection is that the rule in New York is, just my recollection, the rule in New York is that where there's an access easement and the area isn't defined, the owner of the dominant estate, your client, has the right, within reasonable limits at least, to say where the ingress and egress is going to be from. Let me just ask, is that your understanding?
We're the Serbian estate, they're the dominant estate. But in this case, again, we're not changing, nothing's changing. We're saying that we haven't we're not blocking the garage, we're not putting in pavers, we're not doing anything. It's, if anything, we're bettering the access and making it more defined, but altogether, nothing's changing. We're saying they maintain that access, no one's cutting it off, it's not being blocked, there's no gates, no nothing. It's just keep doing as you've been doing, and we'll keep doing as we're doing. And again, we spoke directly with these neighbors, including 8 Cliff Street, who has given us easement rights right to that corner that's otherwise probably been utilized historically for the same purposes. So, yeah,
I don't want to spend too long.
I think
the reason for asking is just, is there any material change or prejudice based on whether or not this is being delineated on the plans? If there's not, then
it doesn't change any private, the rights are their rights. This doesn't change anything involving their rights.
Okay.
But we'll make sure very clearly we'll even note those properties. I think that'll help for anybody not familiar with the tax parcel, that those lots are the ones that are the beneficiaries of their respective rights per their respective LIBOR and page numbers, so there's nothing there.
That makes sense to me. Okay.
Me?
Yeah.
So with the landscaping area, I mean, Taylor covered most of this in terms of, I guess, what would be helpful to clarify, where you're pointing out turf on the landscape plan. Is that artificial turf or is that growing grass? Is that grass that's going to be mowed?
I think it's mouthing real.
It's going to be planted turf in the pavers.
Okay, so it's not artificial, it will be real grass in the pavers.
Correct.
Okay.
So, question, when you salt that for snow and ice,
Dead in a year.
is that actually going to survive whatever planted materials in that block?
Needs to be
It's going to take a lot of abuse.
maintained, yeah.
Yeah, I think so there's an open question about, and I don't think we've I'll put it this way. There are instances in the past where we've been asked to consider turf block planted area, and we've declined to do so because there are so many variables that could very quickly change that from planted area to not planted area. So we got to continue the conversation about that.
Well, I think, Mr. Chairman, I may allay that concern if the code provides for a reduction if and where publicly accessible landscaping green space is provided. So we are incorporating planters at the recommendation of Natalie in the Main Street frontage. So
I was going to ask about that because I don't know whether I missed them or they're new.
Yeah.
they were in the submission.
This is
Can
exactly.
we go to the landscape plan that shows it a little bit more?
These are shown exactly in the location of where the establishments, I think it's Beacon Bread and
Yep.
WTF,
Yep,
have outdoor seating.
correct.
Yeah, so the goal is to take away that outdoor seating and put planters.
No, the goal is to put some publicly accessible greenery up on Main Street, as I think was
Here-
part of the intention of this code section.
Yeah,
Because
here's-
otherwise you have Main Street buildings that are
Is-
being greened.
Are they on the concrete portion of the sidewalk or the brick portion? It's very hard to tell from.
They're on the concrete portion, right where it changes to brick, right on that line, and that's generally where that property line is also.
Because again, we have to get the percentages, we can't, for example, install them, even though we talked about in the prior application, street trees in the city's right of way, we can't avail ourselves, so to speak, of the city's property. For example, there's a strip between our property and the city's parking lot where we could also add green space, but that's city property, and it wouldn't necessarily count towards the landscape area.
Yeah.
So those two other considerations are there, but
So just explain to me again how this is intended to work. And look, I'm all for bringing greenery to the people, but I'll also say that sometimes, especially nowadays, when navigating the sidewalks on Main Street, the weekend crowds, et cetera, it's nearly impossible with all of the stuff. You know, planting wells and seeding is as wonderfully dynamic as it is. Sometimes you can't get past stuff and people all at the same time. So it starts to become an encumbrance.
we could certainly potentially modify a landscape planter box so as to try and further facilitate that, but
Well,
only to a
here's-
point where
here's
we'd be
my
at
point.
5%.
So again, what you're intending here is to maintain the seating and add the planter boxes.
Right.
I don't see specifically how that's going to be done here while also maintaining a clear walkway. So, again, I'm all for the idea of bringing more greenery out toward the street, but if it's at the expense of the ability to navigate the sidewalk by adding more stuff, I don't see how that's helping us.
Yeah, are the existing street trees shown on the site plan?
I'm just going to street view just to try and get a sense.
There's a street tree in front of 193. Where are we looking there?
And 195.
So is that shown on the site plan so we can see relative to where the planters are being proposed to those?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, and then there's a light pole, and then there's another tree just to the east of the two buildings. So to put another tree in there, I think it's a little crowded with trees.
Yeah, and again.
And we did look at that. We wanted to put another tree well in there, but I just think it's probably, the mature tree in front of 193 is going to, take over the sunlight of any new tree that we put there. And that light pole.
I mean, improvements can certainly be made to the planting well of both of those trees. I understand it's on city property. To me, putting raised planters in between the brick and the concrete just doesn't make any sense traffic-wise. It just seems to me like you're just, trying to come up with your 5 or 10% in the most
Well, I was going to make the same observation.
You know, in the
We're creating a bigger
easiest
problem
way,
by
right,
trying to
and
solve
it's-
one for the
yeah.
application, and it's a non-starter. And look, it's great that this part of Main Street is probably one of the areas where on the sidewalk, it starts to widen out and you get some relief.
Maybe you should consider a green roof.
I would love that, but I think in
It's
the
not
past,
for the public.
we've been told that doesn't count either. So,
Well,
yeah, that's our problem. We're in
Yeah,
a
there's a
a
problem
number
here.
of suggested spots, and I think it would be, I mean, to seek a variance for this, for an infill, property that's already improved on Main Street, it is, the code unfortunately is written in a way as if you were dealing with an infill building, right? A new building being proposed like 364, not 364, but the Warp and Weft building all the way down by Roundhouse.
Well-
Like that's a brand new building, infill.
This is a brand-new building, though.
No, it's this, well, by May.
It's an addition.
Yeah.
That's, don't even get me started.
Again, the code is the code,
Yeah.
Well, we did provide you 3 different ways we're trying to meet that criteria. If we can take, if the preference is, and if I may, because it was mentioned again on the roof greening, but if I may, if we take away a percentage or provide some benefit for the grass-green paver system, then we can also modify those planter boxes on Main Street to still meet the 5%, maybe incorporate one, maybe adjust the tree to the extent, some combination thereof that makes it a publicly accessible green space so as to achieve that 5%. We're just,
what, what leeway do we have in terms of where if by doing a green roof, you're providing, stormwater management to the city, is that considered?
Are you?
Yeah, you're reducing.
Man,
it just says approved by the planning board.
Yeah, I mean, it says, the code provision says a minimum of 10% of the lot, so that's where we're talking about, Mr. Palmer's bringing up improvements on, city property, on the sidewalk, on the lot next door, but it says a minimum of 10% of the lot.
Right, so even
Shall-
even augmenting the planting wells on the street, they're not going to do it.
Right. I mean, can
I'm
I
having-
just say
and then
something?
it
Do
says
it, but it won't
shall,
count as a percentage. but-
so with respect to the green roofs, it says shall be landscaped with trees, shrubs, or grass in locations approved by the planning board that enhance the streetscape, provide a landscaped rear yard or courtyard, and are found to be consistent with the intent of the CMS district. So
So wait a minute.
that's the provision we're dealing with.
We're also being asked to choose between you're presenting a non-compliant thing, and you're asking us to, do a completely select an unworkable scheme, or do something that sort of doesn't make any sense, which is a paver that happens to have grass in it as a planting area. I'm not a fan of the open 10% space, so I'll just say that this is one of those situations where it seems like it really isn't providing that much benefit. It's a number that needs to be taken into account. However, it was a rule when you started this, and the correct thing to do would have been to present a compliant plan with 10% at the beginning, rather than sort of doing a non-compliant thing and throwing yourself on the mercy of the court because all of a sudden you can't provide what is required, right?
If I may, there's
So-
multiple ways that this code is being written and read, and we provided more than one way to satisfy that criteria. To say that we're not code compliant is not accurate to the, we sought that a determination regarding whether or not the grass-green paver system could be considered as whole or in part. The board suggested the potential of considering half of it. So we asked that question. It sounds like the answer is no. You're not going to consider half of that grass-green system, which if you did, and we provided a planter, which is in the landscape, which is specifically to enhance the streetscape, which is what we're presenting, that's publicly accessible, which it is, it's a shall. It's not a if may, it's a shall be reduced to 5%. So we're working with those restrictions and meeting those criteria. So to say that we've not met them, we're submitting that we have, but we're trying to get this board's input and figure out where that can be, because otherwise we'd go to a zoning board for a de minimis variance.
I didn't mean to say that you were breaking the law or whatever. So, but it does. There would have been a way to avoid this, which would be having a smaller building and having a compliant open space. But that doesn't, because that keeps happening. because of, people wanting to make the most, have the most beneficial building to themselves.
I mean, I'll let
I'm
Arya
just worried
speak to
about-
another proposal,
Yeah.
just for your benefit.
No, I'm not suggesting that. I don't
We're
even
just trying
think
to find,
it's.
I mean, if I may, we've been here, just to play, I guess, consistency. This is our 12th meeting to discuss this project, which has been fully refined. We're now at I'm respectfully considering this a T or I of crossing and trying to address these considerations. The landscape areas you highlighted, where it's intended or where it may better, be a betterment for certain properties, it doesn't, one size doesn't fit all, which is why it has the variability built into the standard on its own.
Totally.
So we're just trying to see what you all would support, and that's why we're offering things like addressing the planter, maybe planting strips between, so that if we can't really meet it with this code criteria, even though we're meeting the letter of the law from what it says, that we can help benefit the overall experience.
I don't really think, because I'm looking at this language now, landscaped with trees, shrubs, or grass, I don't really agree that what you're putting in front of us beats that language.
It doesn't.
Agreed.
And it's that simple. I mean,
Yeah, and again,
I don't know whether or not the 10% requirement really makes sense or not, but
regardless, it's the code.
right.
So, right,
And-
that needs to be addressed at a different level and at a different time. So we shouldn't talk about its merits at this point. It's the code. So I understand that you're attempting to take advantage of a potential reduction by providing planters to the public benefit. You still have that opportunity. You haven't necessarily convinced me, this planning board member, that that is an approach that's going to actually benefit the public, other than it simply physically being there and visible as green stuff, as opposed to adding to congestion on the street. So there's still room for improvement and discussion there.
Understood.
So
And if I may.
keep that in
The
mind.
standard is not a public benefit, it's just that we're trying to enhance the streetscape.
But you're making it worse.
And that's exactly my point.
Distinction without it,
Or another
It
way of
just says
saying it,
enhance the
it's not a
streetscape and
location
provide.
approved by the
Right,
planning
but that's
board.
not enhancing the streetscape in that manner. Like, in what you have presented is not enhancing the streetscape.
Again, we're talking about complying with the letter of the law by enhancing the streetscape by plopping a planter there. Yeah, sure, you've done it. But if in the process of doing that, you've created additional challenges to the streetscape, right? You've enhanced it by adding a plant, but you've added to the challenges in other ways. It doesn't necessarily, yes, it meets the letter of the law, but it doesn't necessarily decrease potential issues. It increases them. So I think you can agree with that. I hope you would agree with that.
So I'll ask other questions, just because we want to try and put an end to the landscape conversation and to the way that the board wants to see it presented, or that would be meeting of this criteria. So if I understand correctly, there won't be credit for the Grasscrete paver system that's provided here. Is that what I'm understanding? Because if that's the case, if we meet that, if that criteria is included, I'll look to Mike to do, because we haven't done that math.
I'll put it this way. There have been applicants in the past who have made the request, who have attempted to use paver blocks as planted green area. And we've made the determination on those applications in the past for the reasons I outlined.
Well, I can't speak to exactly what paver systems they've used, because I agree
No.
that certain systems don't
Again,
meet
they're
they're not all the same.
Paver systems that integrate both paving and grass, just as you have here. And especially in this instance, where you've got the prospect of environmental conditions, as you go down the driveway, this driveway is pretty much in shade, quite a bit of the time. So is this in fact going to grow? And then, under those very challenging conditions, it's traveled by automobiles, and as we saw, trucks that can back into it. So it's got a lot of activity happening on it. And when you're, in the winter, you got ice and snow, you're putting salt down. Is this stuff actually going to survive as planted material? Those are valid concerns to raise when we're talking about this type of material and trying to classify it as planted material. So, again, I'm not here to argue with you, other than to point out those concerns.
Not arguing, we're just asking how we can try and get there with you, and if that includes green roof, as Karen mentioned, that could be another alternative that we suggest if the board sees fit in that meeting the criteria.
Here, you know what I would like? And I'm just going to say this because this happens a lot. Yes, you're asking what the board wants to see. Come to us with something that you think is acceptable and that you think you would like us to see, rather than trying to pull it out of us.
Absolutely, and normally I would say in most circumstances, you got it, Mr. Chairman, we'll go back to it and look at it, but we have done that in multiple instances here, and I think one of your board members just suggested the roof garden. So if I may, would that suggestion be something that the board is interested in? Because we can incorporate that if that would help meet the criteria to satisfaction of the board.
It would probably be on the one-story building, just, because then it might actually be, seeing if you could grow something up there, and then it would even be viewed by the
Thoughts?
public.
I'm not a fan of, roof detention just as a strategy, because it's not practical, but that has nothing to do with whether it's code compliant or not.
Does it meet the criteria of planted area on the lot, if it's on the roof or a roof?
The locations of the landscaping, as long as it's trees, shrubs, or grass, the location of it is to the discretion of the planning board.
Okay.
So I would say roof could be an approved location.
Okay. So this is something you suggested. Sounds like you would be in support of looking at part of the application with that. I would, as long as, again, come to us with the solution that we can understand, that makes sense, that looks viable.
You're going to say the math that I provided wasn't, I had to go and do the math to figure out those calculations.
No, okay, now I know why you're so frustrated. You had to do math.
I had to do it again.
What do these guys do for you?
We might be at 100%.
Yeah, why are you doing the math? You should be doing the law stuff.
Actually, Mike did it, but I took credit for it.
Yeah, again, we'll entertain it, sure.
So if I may, we are near at the end of this project, and I think we can come up with a solution for a green roof that would otherwise address that consideration. If the board is willing to review the draft resolution that's before it. Again, this is a...
No.
Actually, so, hang on, did we hear from you guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I don't think we heard. No. We heard partially.
Sorry, John
from
started off.
Natalie.
He interrupted the flow.
My third comment was about refuse, and we saw the video. Did I make this up because I don't go back through all the submissions? Did we get a truck turning to show, you showed us that truck already in the driveway backing up. What does that look like on Cliff? Like,
it's funny.
I wanted to see what does the truck have to do to get into that alleyway?
Yeah, I mean, you got a T intersection there too, so like there is another street there.
And parked vehicles and stuff like that on the street. So I was just wondering, like,
it's interesting because I thought, well, the truck actually is there. We could see it on video, so it got there somehow. But
it did get there
I just
somehow.
found it interesting that it wasn't on the video.
So sometimes I thought you guys had provided a truck turning.
I don't recall.
That was the original dump truck that did like the fast turn.
Which is not immediately
up
saying
top.
yes.
So we've never seen it from the street.
Yeah,
That was-
how would
Packed with
street
cars as
parking?
it's doing it.
I mean, to the one point, I do appreciate that the bin, there's a lot of bins there, so having all those bins moved out to Cliff and like sat on Cliff, I think was gonna provide an obstruction on that block, potentially take up on-street parking or block the sidewalk. So having it handled on the parcel, I think does have merits to it.
Sure.
I'm just a little bit, I just would like to see how that truck's getting there, to make sure, you see, like sometimes Israel just, if they can't get in,
They're
what
going to
happens?
just drive by.
Yeah.
And look, I've mentioned it before. This Cliff Street is particularly congested when it comes to street parking. And so, I would, again, I mean, there's so many variables to this whole thing. And I saw the letter from Royal Karting where they're, stating that, yes, they, basically, what it amounts to is they're saying in this letter, yes, we will pick up garbage at your property. It doesn't go into any kind of description of an understanding and therefore a written agreement that, and again, I'm not talking about a codified agreement, but at least some
It does say
written-
that they will go in and remove those bins from,
It doesn't say that they will back their truck up?
we have like 3 letters from them, so we can certainly get a 4th letter to that effect, but we thought the video would be more persuasive, but we will also.
Again, I'm not trying to be cheeky here, but what the video
Pretty
proves
cheeky.
to me is that a truck fits in that space. It doesn't prove that on a day when there's street parking, that truck can actually make that turn and do it effectively. So, again, I read the letter here in your application, and it says, yes, we will pick up refuse from the property. It doesn't say anything about we will, every single time we go to pick up garbage, we will back the truck onto your property to do so. That's my point.
We'll incorporate
So,
that.
again, you know.
They've advised us accordingly, and we're making that representation, but we'll get the
Here's
letter
deal.
to revise. Yep.
Here's the deal. Again, the applicant is setting themselves up for a scenario where, and we can't in good conscience not ask these questions and drill down into these specifics. Because, of course, we can't plan for every single eventuality, but these real world, quite possible eventualities are going to potentially have an impact on the neighbors, on others utilizing the street.
I bet the public I can venture a guess that this will be a better condition than current conditions.
Again, you saying that sounds great.
But it's true.
But
There are
there's
currently,
but-
Mr. Chairman, with
but-
all due respect, there
no,
are
no, no.
currently dumpsters in the city's parking lot, right? So I think, again, we hear you. We're not here to argue back and forth. We've gotten this application quite literally to
You're
a
not
point
hearing
where.
me. We need to be convinced. I'm not convinced.
We'll
So
incorporate.
you saying it is
Yeah.
great. It sounds wonderful. The letters sounds, because you got a letter from Royal Karting, it sounds like they're going to do what you're saying they're going to do, but what the letter doesn't say is they're going to do it exactly how you've described it. I'm not convinced.
We're going to add it. It'll be in there.
Thank you.
That T is going to be crossed in marker.
Again, there's a lot of talking about this stuff.
And writing about it.
all I'm saying, and I'm not arguing with you, that it can be done. I'm saying you haven't proven to me, and I'm not sure about my fellow board members, but you haven't convinced me.
Does that mean you're not going to consider a resolution tonight?
No.
Okay. Were there other comments, though, from, I don't want to take away. Yeah.
Sorry. Again, we just want to be convinced. Convince us. Make it so that we understand it, that what we're approving is not going to have an otherwise, both with the planting on the street and the Royal Karting pickup, an otherwise adverse impact on the neighbors, the surrounding community. Convince me.
If for whatever reason the truck can't get back there, which could include notably a car being illegally parked there for 5 minutes, is there any sort of backup plan for how to get the garbage out of there? Because, I mean, just one concern would be if a scenario like that happened, it could get really smelly with this. Is there any realistic way to get the garbage out of there other than by using this drive? It is. I know there's that boundary with the city parking lot.
Yep. That's where I was going to say would probably be the relief valve, if I had to guess. They probably would go and across that same way they've done it for decades. But we're not proposing that. We went through that originally when we talked about a potential license area, creating additional walkways. Like, we've talked about other means to try and achieve that. So we can ask them to make that clear. We'll have to make the letter that they've written clearer and make sure that's incorporated. We'll put the green roof into the plan, adjust the planters on the front, and hopefully have this thing in a better shape than you believe it to be currently.
Okay, awesome, thanks.
I got one question. Where does the snow go? Where you put, like, this year we had like massive amount of snow.
Yeah.
One after another.
Yeah.
Where does it go? Where are you putting it?
I believe it's in the back space that they were talking about before, but I'll have Mike speak to
what
snow
back
space.
space? You put it in the parking lot?
What do you need? No, it's just a resolution. Do you need a copy of the resolution? I've got that too, marked up.
Do we need to speak to snow storage now?
We'll have to address, we'll address your comments.
It's just, it's just, I just don't see it. Like, where's the snow go? How do you do that?
They'll have to have it trucked out.
Right, but how do you how you plowing that?
We'll highlight that. We'll
Yep.
address the comments. I think we're.
And you can't throw it on the
We
street.
chose plantings that can be cut down in the winter around the parking spaces so that snow can be stored there.
Where the handicap parking is?
Yeah.
Yep, okay, let's just make that clear. Yep.
Thank you.
Is that labeled as snow catchment?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The snow
Oh,
storage.
there it is.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
That's all we got.
Don't make me angry again.
I'm gonna get you a candy bar for next meeting. Snickers. You like Snickers or Milky Way? Twix.
Yeah, we're gonna,
The peanut butter kind? Are you a right or a left guy?
we're gonna take a quick 2-minute break.
Great idea.
Hey, we're no, yeah. Too bad.
Order in the
So
court.
lady.
We're gonna get started. We'll get going again. So we're on item number 4, continued review of application for amended site plan approval, 3 Beekman Street, commercial submitted by DS Center for the Arts, Inc. Hi.
Good evening. Mike Bodendorf, engineer for the applicant. So since the last meeting, we made some changes to the plans. We adjusted the landscaping in response to comments that we received both from the planner and this board. We adjusted the sidewalk. Just let it move. We adjusted the sidewalk around an existing light pole near the entrance to the site. We made some adjustments to the stormwater management system and some calculations in the SWIP. We've also added additional horn beam screening along the existing property line between this property line and residential properties. I don't believe we were asked to add more, but the applicant went ahead and just did that on their own. That's generally the site plan changes since last time, and I'm sure you've all noticed that the existing trees have been removed. We thank you for that. We did find that there were a lot of dead trees in there, a lot of trees on the ground. So once this thing gets landscaped back up, it'll be much nicer than it was.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to our consultants. We'll start with Mr. Russo.
So we find the plans to be acceptable at this time. We have no further engineering comments. We found the SWIP that they did to be acceptable. They'll still need to submit a stormwater maintenance and easement agreement for review by the city. And that's all we had.
Great.
I only have 2 minor comments. Just kind of looking at the views that you provided were really helpful, kind of the existing and the proposed, to kind of go back and forth between those. The only comment, and this is kind of up for discussion by the board, by no means a requirement, but the language in the LWRP does talk about retaining and restoring view sheds, right, and protecting view sheds.
Yeah.
So in the historic photos, it was a little bit more of a clear view. I don't know if we want to talk about taking down, if you're looking at like the proposed, right, you're still not getting kind of the full view. So that was the one other, this is definitely, I think, protecting that view shed, and nothing's being exacerbated in terms of new trees. They've been very specific about keeping larger trees out of this area and removing some of them. That was the one other thing worth discussing, of whether we need to go further and kind of bring back the view that's no longer fully there, just for discussion by the board. And the other thing was about lighting. I think we did get good language on the code about dimming controls engaged after 9 p.m. for the parking lot. At the last meeting, we had talked about a potential for sensors so that they are off at some point. I just didn't know exactly when they would be turned off, or if that was going to be censored after some point, or what the intention was
Yeah,
there.
it's actually our preference to just have timers and have them shut off at a certain time, because say an animal walks through there or something, now you have lights turning on, and it could be disrupting neighbors. So,
So they dim
we
at
think
9.
after 9 o'clock, there's really no reason to have the lights on for any reason. There
Oh,
won't
so they
be-
shut off at 9?
Just on off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I actually prefer that for that reason you mentioned.
Yeah. You still got a note on there, though, about accents was on and off.
Yeah, we were just discussing back here because of this new comment.
The calcs are good though. It drops off real nice. It's a good fixture.
So that so the intention is that it wouldn't dim at 9, it would just shut off at 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, so then let's talk about your mention of diffusion. And if I'm reading you, I'm hearing you correctly, you're making mention of the fact that, yes, there are still mature trees within the view of the river.
Yeah, so when you look at, and I took it out of my letter, but remember my letter from last month, I had the view from the LWRP, right?
Yep.
That historic one, with the black and white grainy one. But you can actually have a view of the river at that point, right? Which, this happens all the time, that trees grow in and that view today is no longer what it was then. So nothing is being exacerbated by the proposal. I think we can very comfortably say that based on the planting plan. It was just a question for the board of, and this is kind of an extra step of like, there is language within the LWRP that allows you to talk about kind of restoring views that have been overgrown. And I don't know if that's appropriate or necessary here.
I'm not inclined to, just for the sake of it, taking, good, healthy, mature trees down. I don't know how the rest of the board feels about it.
I agree.
But, thank you for mentioning that.
Because there might be other places in other applications where that becomes appropriate, right? To talk about kind of, if it's just overgrown trees or whatever, but this is a landscape, the rest of the trees in this view shed are kind of part of the landscape parking lot. Maintained, right? I think they went through and culled out so I think this is a different situation, but I did want the board to have that conversation.
Yeah, it's a good point. Thank you. Short conversation, but
great.
One had nonetheless. Great. So we do have, unless there's anything else, board questions or other comments to the applicant, we have draft resolution from Jen's office. Any discussion around that, or do we want to?
Two resolutions. One is the LWRP resolution of consistency that outlines the relevant policies from the LWRP and explains how the project is consistent with each one of those relevant ones. And then the second resolution is the amended site plan approval resolution.
Okay.
But nothing specific of note in that one.
Okay, so we want to take them one by one? Yeah,
Yes,
so we'll do LWRP consistency first. I'll accept a motion to adopt LWRP.
Motion.
Motion by Karen, second by Kevin, all in favor? Aye. And then we will then either discuss or otherwise entertain a motion to adopt resolution for site plan.
Motion.
Motion by Karen.
Second.
Second by Kevin, all in favor? Aye. I heard that in stereo.
We went at the same time.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I have my
Great.
microphone off.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If they could all be so quick.
Good design speeds things up.
Next item on the agenda, continued review of application for site plan approval, 1154 North Avenue, commercial, submitted by Hudson Vox LLC.
Good evening.
Good evening.
R.J. Siegel, representing the applicant. Just waiting for this to catch up. Okay. So we resubmitted the plans based on the comments we received last month. The existing conditions plan was updated. We provided a survey. We provided the original right-of-way document and an email from the adjacent property owner. I don't know if you need something that combines those two in a more formal way, or if that's good?
No. I mean, the easement description clearly defined the use of the right-of-way in the back.
Okay. We provided lighting specs. There's some more information provided on the noise mitigation. The parking assessment letter was provided. And then, we updated the site plan a bit, the floor plans and the elevations, which we also had there. We put the bike rack on the site plan, and then we also showed the screening for any mechanical equipment that would be on the roof. But basically, we're going to use similar, vertical wood boards, the kind that we're using at the front of the building. If we need mechanical equipment on the roof, it's going to be in the back, so you wouldn't see it from the street anyway. And let me just...
I'm just curious, the wood cladding that you're putting over what is currently, it's just sort of a white painted concrete.
Yeah.
What is that material?
We're going to go through that and specify it, because we want to make sure that it works with the the brick color.
Yeah.
And any, finish that would go on it. So we'll specify an exact material.
Yeah, it's that, and I'd love to see how you intend to terminate it because it's going to stand proud of the face, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be some kind of like drip cap or something like, I'd love to see that detail.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. It's either going to be like a drip cap of the same material that's very minimal, or it would sort of be like basically a rain screen, that it would be held proud of that, and then it would just...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somewhat the same at the base.
Yeah.
If you've got splash up and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just kind of love to understand how this is going to weather.
Mm-hmm.
So more details on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go to our planner first. Natalie.
Yep, the one was about just kind of the formalization of the easement that was talked about. I have two comments in there for signage, just, I guess it's punting it to the building department for kind of clarification. This goes back to our previous conversation, the training about signage. There's kind of LED information board and the how, so those kind of need to be reviewed for compliance with the sign code. And then with the lighting for L2, which is the uplighting for the statue, I think the detail we're missing there, so the code does allow for some decorative lighting. We just need to know the lumens of it. I didn't know if I don't believe I saw that on there, so.
Yeah, there's 600.
You see it where?
Yeah, it's L2 on page 1 of the...
Right.
Okay, we just didn't have a lighting schedule, so I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, I think we're within the lumen maximum, but the idea there is that we would, it would be sort of concealed in that little retaining wall, and then point at the statue and create a shadow on the building. So it's not going up into the sky or something. Up into the sky or up into the back of those buildings or behind there? No, it would just hit that big brick wall.
I just missed the detail. I'll find it.
Totally. On sheet 1, there's a list of the light fixtures.
Yeah, but actually on the printed sheets, you can't even read them. Oh. It's so tight. That's one of my comments. You can barely read the legibility on the printed sheets.
The size? The
size, yeah. You can barely read everything.
That's it for my comments.
Okay, thank you. John?
While we're on the signs, especially the LED, so sheet 1 is telling me it's a 72-inch LED, yet on where you're providing the information, it's telling me that this LED is actually 42 by 24.
Yeah, it was scaled down because
okay, so then you need to modify the other sheet. Lighting information talked about the size. Notes under the lighting cut sheet state photometric diagrams are shown with shielded conditions. I didn't see any photometric diagrams.
Oh, all right, let me check that one.
I think we're getting weather.
Let's see. The sheet title should be revised, so sheet 5, it basically is titled Grading and Landscaping Plan. That should be revised to construction details. You still need a permit from DOT for work in 9D. And is this building going to be sprinklered?
No.
No, okay. That's it.
Okay, great. So a couple things. We do have the applicant's traffic Oh,
Yeah, I mean, based on the use, unless we need to look at the use.
I think you need to look at the occupancy load that you're going to put in there.
Yeah.
You've got quite the, and if that is, you need to know it now, because now you're going for a permit with DOT, and utilities out into 9D.
Okay, yeah, can we go over that? I'll show you what I looked at, but, okay.
and while you have the mic, Brian, you want to maybe give us some context on the signage?
So the sign is either too big or you have too many, one or the other. So if it's looked at as one sign, it's taller than 24 inches.
Right.
So that's not good. And then if you looked at it as two signs, you're only allowed one. So you got to figure out which way you want to go with that.
Okay, yeah, I didn't check my email today. Or anything,
Okay,
but-
yeah, it came like 5 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, so you made your determination?
I did.
Okay, yeah, I'll review that as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
So just for my clarification, each one of them on their own would, however, therefore be compliant? Meaning, if you had one or the other, as they are currently shown, one or the other would be compliant?
Howell would be compliant. It says it's 24 inches tall. The TV's 24 and a half inches, so it would actually be a half inch out of compliance. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but you're only allowed one wall sign.
Got it.
Unless you get a variance for it to have.
Yeah, correct. Or you could get either way, you could obtain a variance or a smaller LED and arrange them in line, so they're not 20,
Oh, like
you can
side
be
by
as
side.
long as you would like,
Okay.
but you can only be 24 inches tall.
Right. Okay. Yeah, what I was trying to do with it, because there's a window removed below the second floor window, I was trying to line them up.
So if your establishment was called supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, you'd be fine.
Yeah, correct.
So can only
With that half inch.
Well, he's actually going to 42 tall here.
Well, that was the idea, so, but
Yeah,
I
trying to
understand
have
the
it
issue. At one point, we're talking about the highly illegal display case at the town crier.
Why? Everybody pulls town crier in.
But I'm wondering,
These poor
like,
people.
if it was
I don't know, it's been there-
an illuminated
it's been
thing,
there
but
for
like
quite a while.
display box, is that something that?
I don't know. Brian said he was going to go check it out.
Pre-existing
I
non-conforming.
said last one, I was going and I forgot.
All right.
So I'm going now, so I'll let you know you sent it.
Okay. No, just, like,
The complaint was filed.
all right.
I think
You're
he
already
did the town crier.
All right.
Okay, I mean, just as an option, like, if we look at the whole situation with the, two signs, and we decide to possibly do something like that, like more as a glass display box that might have some notes in it about upcoming events. I mean, that's what they have.
If it's compliant, just,
Well, I don't know what.
Make it nice.
Is it display box?
Well, that's what you have to discuss with him.
Well,
yeah, don't ask us. That's Brian's purview.
Submit a sign permit application, all I'm doing is, submit a sign permit application so we can figure it out. This application didn't have one either, so I don't know if it's one sign or two signs.
Okay.
So that we could then give you the specific code section that
Right.
you need to variance from or
Okay.
change your design to
Okay.
comply.
All right, yeah, that makes sense.
And then just quickly on your traffic analysis, are you done with that? Is there any more work to be done there on traffic?
I'll let Rich.
We weren't, what we did was a parking analysis.
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant
We
to
weren't anticipating doing anything further. I can go
Yeah,
through
okay.
the parking analysis. I think that's what you want me to.
So, yeah, no, I just, we wanted to talk amongst ourselves here on the board and whether we wanted our city traffic consultant to review it. Any thoughts on the matter? I think it's always nice to have review, so if you all agree, then we'll maybe
Yeah, sure.
go ahead and do that. Do we have to act on that formally? Yeah, so I think the board is in agreement for the record to.
What are we agreement on here?
We have, so they've prepared a parking sort of study for their own purposes and for us. We're just asking that the city's traffic consultant review it. So for any feedback, just belts and suspenders.
Is this?
The concern is that's going to overwhelm that section.
There's no concern, it's more just to double check their work, the formality.
This is a place of assembly, though, right? More than 75 people?
I
Yes?
know it's an A occupancy, if that's what you're asking, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and my point being that it has a definite, there's a lot of people that are going to be attending
Yep.
this, potentially. And so that's really something we have to take into account. I know it's not accommodated right now with parking, but
Yeah, so
it
then.
should be looked at.
We agree, we would have our consultant have a look at your analysis, so. Okay.
And can I ask one other
Yeah.
question to Ari? Sorry,
Please.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Is that how, are those letters the logo that they've already adopted? The signage with the big O?
Yeah, yeah.
That wasn't
I mean,
something,
I
that's
did
not a
what I could.
placeholder? Okay. All right. It has nothing to do with the Allen Ginsberg poem? No.
Not that I know of.
All right.
Anything else?
Do we have anywhere we could move ahead with this? To public hearing or?
Yeah, we could talk about it. Any thoughts, board? You guys feel ready to go to public?
I'm cool with it.
All right. I'll accept a motion to notice public hearing for next month.
Motion to notice public hearing next month.
Motion by James, second by David. All in favor? Aye.
And any ability to?
Draft?
Draft, yeah.
Well, we don't
Let's
know.
draft it. Again.
We don't know if a variance is going to be required
Oh,
yet
you mean for the
signage.
signage?
Yeah. I think
We'll work it out so it's compliant.
That's
And
what I was
we're-
suggesting before.
You're also awaiting review
We'll
by
have some
Creighton
sign.
Manning.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, we just decided to have Creighton Manning review, so let's
Yeah.
hold off until next.
Okay.
Okay.
Good try, though.
Public hearing is
Thanks.
good.
We're gonna try to make all these applicants 12 months exactly.
We can let you.
I knew that would be
13 on it.
popular. I know. All righty. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next item on the agenda, item 6, continued review of amended concept plan approval, 248 Tyrone Avenue residential, submitted by Beacon 248 Holdings.
I'm recused on this project as a consultant for the applicant and other municipalities.
Thank you. You're doing a coffee run, right?
Yeah. Everyone tells me your order.
We go for coffee?
Good evening.
Hi.
Jay Blumenfeld for Beacon 248 Holdings LLC. I'm here with Kyle Ayer from Labella, the project manager. We had submitted in this month's submission, on time this time, responses to the comments we got, and which I think was subsequently reviewed. We submitted a few updates to the EAF that was based on certain comments. We submitted an updated no adverse impact letter from SHPO, and we submitted an updated split children's analysis for the project. There's a few other items that I believe we'll get more into when we get to the full site plan review, and that's as much as I got.
Yep. So you mentioned the other items, right? So we're in what I would kind of call a bit of a conundrum from at least my point of view. One, the city's asked us to opine on your concept plan, while simultaneously we're reviewing you for SECRA, right? And so part of our review for SECRA, which is kind of happening at the same time as the city council expecting comments back from us, kind of requires us to dig a little bit deeper. And, you know, one of the requests made by, I think it was John's office, was for additional views, which I understand the response to be, well, we'll submit that later. And again, when we talk about what we need to do for SECRA, that challenges us to do what we need to do for SECRA, right? So again, may not be required for concept plan. It would be also helpful for us on concept plan. So you can kind of see, as I've laid it out, our challenge here. So again, I'm still somewhat unclear on what exactly the city is asking for back from us in terms of review of the concept plan. I'd like more specific criteria for our review. And if it were left up to us, I'd like that review to go as deep as looking at additional views as requested multiple times.
Okay, I don't, so just if I could separate out the SECRA part from the request for review in terms of the council. So we had discussions with the council specifically as to what views they wanted to see. Their specific request was to see it dead on center from eye level on the street, which is the one that we included. So in terms of the city council review, and we, as mentioned, complied with what the code required. I understand the conundrum in terms of SECRA. I don't think that we would have been able to produce the renderings in the timeline requested. I don't really know what else to say. We are happy to do what we need to do.
Are you saying that you're finished with submitting things for
No,
our
I'm not
review?
saying that. I just am first saying if I want to separate the two
city's
things.
review is the extent of what you're going to provide, what you provided this to the city council. I mean, are you? Is that what you're saying, sort of?
Well, I'm saying is that the
I want to know what
code-
to expect. That's all.
I understood. The code is requesting that, not requesting, the code says that the planning board should be reviewing what the city council, what we submitted to the city council.
Not necessarily. So again, yes, you've been before the city council for review of concept plan. And then they've referred the concept plan to us so that we could offer our advisory opinion and observations. So, and again, when we say the city, I'm referring right now to the city council, but we're also part of the city. And so when we do reviews, we also make requests of applicants. And again, we've made the request for additional views for our ability to offer our advisory observations back to the city council. So it's not, what you're saying is, you're only going to get planning board what the city council asked for, and that's it.
No, I was just trying to get clarity and separate the two items as was sent over. Meaning from
And so
SECRA.
forgive me, perhaps I'm conflating the two. We're doing both at the same time. And what I'm saying is that we're going to need it for SECRA. We're reviewing SECRA right now. We requested them. It would also help with our review for our comments back to the council. Because again, you know, what we have so far, I don't feel, and we can talk about this across the board, I don't feel it's complete enough for us to offer our advisory observations back to the city council.
So if I may, can we just quickly go through exactly which views are being requested? So
I
we
think
could
that
just
they've been delineated by our consultant
So we
very
were
clearly.
looking Walcott Avenue, Neville's Avenue, and the end of Christie Drive, which is on the opposite side of the Fishkill Creek.
So if I may, for the first one, which is Wolcott, we do like to see an angle. I just want, for clarity's sake, because this is what you would see about, I think about 500 feet in from Wolcott. So I can't imagine that you would really see much more from Wolcott.
The additional building behind
Yeah.
it, but the most visible will be
So-
the existing building.
All that greenery is there now? Or are we looking 20 years ahead?
You're basically looking at a view from the bridge of Walcott. And no, the growth at the creek front, in front of the buildings, is not that mature right now.
This is a photo.
Yeah.
From when?
Last summer.
Yeah, I understand the concept. So basically, I just want to reiterate as well.
Let's go
you're-
through the views that John's office laid out for us.
Okay.
So that's the Walcott view. The other two are renderings, not photos. And what was the second one?
So we had Neville's Avenue and the end of Christie Drive. So,
So it's not, again, it's not the exact location, but it's the portion of and the side of the building that we would be looking at from Neville's. Neville's is more in line with the
end of the building, so you'd be seeing less of the building from that location. This is more lined up on Tyranda and maybe the building right here between A and B.
So again, is the concept from Neville's Avenue to see this basically on an angle further south?
Yes, more or less coming down Neville's. What am I going to see coming down?
So I want to get exactly what the board wants, so should I do it at the bottom, halfway up?
I would do it halfway up.
Okay. And that would be focused on the building, okay. And Christie Drive is something we've tried to take pictures of, even without the foliage. I guess we could try again. This is further down.
And that's a simulation with the...
All of the simulations are actual pictures, just to clarify, with the buildings, the rendering superimposed. So,
I have another question, just...
Did we get all the views first?
Those were the three I had listed out.
Now, once again, what is going to be part of the record is what is approved, is the elevations, not the renderings, am I right? So are we going to be provided with line elevations, direct architectural elevations, indicating the materials, heights, et cetera, to provide the design intent, the expression, not just a series of renderings that can be...
Yeah, part of our submission was more than just the renderings. That's all, I believe, on the record. Well, there are two
So
versions
for
of axonogramic.
For concept plan, that level of detail wouldn't be available yet for your site plan review. That's when
Okay,
the
this is
detailed
just
elevations with architectural information. I mean, they may have advanced their plans to that point now. I would let the applicant address that, but
Yeah, again,
for
so
concept typically.
We haven't created...
It's unclear to me what we're doing.
I
Has
can address
anything,
that.
has anything been altered, modified, changed, updated from last meeting to this meeting? That's it? Nothing about your massing and bulk and all that stuff?
So, John, if I could address from the code perspective.
Yeah.
For the concept plan referral. The code says that the city council shall refer an application in the Fishkill Creek Development District.
Yep.
For concept plan approval to the planning board for a recommendation. And it says that the planning board shall review all documents and materials relating to the application and may make any advisory recommendations it deems appropriate. So there's really nothing specific in the code that would set forth the exact criteria that you're reviewing. But I think that your general reactions to the site layout, we don't need to get into the level of detail of a site plan, for
Yeah.
instance, landscaping, utilities, architectural treatment, all of that, but the more treetop level concept plan
Yeah, I understand.
comments that,
We had, thank you, we had begun to outline some observations last meeting. Did we capture those?
let me see. From last, I don't have those in my notes from the last meeting.
See if the minutes had them.
I don't recall specific observations, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's some discussion of the process.
Yeah, and I mean, certainly one of your comments back to the city council can be that, visuals of the site from these particular locations, as outlined in John Russo's memo, are important
Yep.
for the city council to review as part of the concept plan, to understand how it will be viewed from those vantage points. In addition, you'll want that for your seeker review and for the LWRP consistency
Yep.
determination, but that could be a comment back to the city
Yeah,
council.
so basically, you're sort of supporting what I'm saying, is that at this point in time, the bulk of my advisory observations back to the city council will be, I need more information on what this application ultimately will look like and what its sort of physical impact will be. So again, that's the sort of conundrum. Personally, I don't know what meaningful observations I can personally make back to the city council on this. So, board, any other thoughts on that?
Well, just because we're sort of getting stonewalled a little bit on this doesn't mean that we can't demand information in order to do what we've been asked to do. So I don't think we should accept just not getting information or getting the minimal amount that's going to be
Well, again,
required.
so the city council is asking us to offer our advisory opinion so that they have it in hand. And again, I don't know what the timing constraints for them are for their next meeting. And so, look, if that's what they're asking for from my seat, I'm more than happy to say, we've looked at what we've been provided and, in effect, can't necessarily render significant or meaningful advisory observations at this point, until we've, been able to review this application further based on the materials we know are, again, still forthcoming for our further review for site plan and secret.
I think it would also be helpful to be specific about, other than the visuals that we just talked about, what other information you want from the applicant to do that. I think it would be helpful for the city council because they may need the same information to do their concept plan review.
Yeah.
And I think it would also be helpful for the applicant so the applicant has direction.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think, quite honestly, the scale of the buildings, the new ones, are more significant than the originally planned and the originally built, right? So this is a very different approach now from what the original approved submission was.
Understood.
So, when it comes to, again, this is part of the challenge too. Your submission for this month didn't include anything other than what you outlined, some letters.
Just to clarify, just for the sake of clarity, maybe I'm confused myself. The initial comments back, and as reflected in our submission, there's quite a few of the comments that I think are clearly for site plan review and not for the concept plan period of time. Correct?
Some of the comments I have, yes, are going forwards, what you're going to have to do.
So,
But the council's trying to, or, sorry, not the council, the planning board's looking at this, trying to provide recommendations or advisory comments back to the city council, while they're also trying to review this for seeker. Seeker, we have to take a hard look.
No, I
I
understand that. I just want to explain, like, there was a comment made before about a stonewalling. I think there's a delineation to make when there's a few comments that are clearly about site plan review and a comment about the viewpoints, and I bunched them into one category, and what we received back is saying, no, this is something we feel is for now. So we're not trying to be difficult. I'm happy to provide what we can. I'm happy to, pay our architectural team and have them work on giving the viewpoints as fast as possible. In terms of separating SECRA from the comments back, part of the reason I was also asking for that clarification is I believe there is a public hearing that's set, which if needs to be pushed off, I'm sure the city council would do so. But that's where I could see that we could at least move forward
again,
somewhat.
I get it. So I made these observations the first time you guys came here. And again, I was leading toward that in describing the character in terms of the size and the perception of scale of these new buildings. They represent what I would consider quite a significant height increase from Creekside, right? And so if there's, my observation to the city council is that is of concern because of the scale, right? And they represent, in my view, based on what I'm seeing, and in my opinion, a significant increase in scale from the two buildings that are already built.
Yeah, they're an increase in scale. We don't.
Yeah. So again, I understand all of the ins and outs and the nuances of the fact that the city council has agreed to allow you more residential and that you need a certain volume in order to gain that residential, and that, you know, you could very well say, well, God, planning board says they look too big, doesn't matter. But what I would say is that, hey, city council, it does, and you may want to think about discussing with, because this is something that, again, this is a position that we're in. This is something that I would bring up to you as a part of our review about, yeah, you need that many units, and you've represented them in a volume, but there's got to be better ways or different ways to look at those volumes and how to potentially lessen the visual impact of them. However you do that is up to you. I'm not going to tell you to do it that way. So to that end, I'll just simply then say, hey, city council, this is something that the planning board, at least this member, is thinking about and will consider, so you should consider it too. Again, I have no idea what impact that will have on the city's review.
We shouldn't be necessarily concerned about what impact it'll have. I mean,
Fair.
your comments are your comments, and, you know, they'll look at them and do with them what they will, right?
Yep.
But that shouldn't prevent you from providing your
So
viewpoints and your comments.
again, this is something I brought up last meeting. Let's capture that one, please.
Yeah, I think that was an excellent example of a productive comment back to the city council to explore ways to reduce the volume, maintain the unit count,
Yep.
but reduce,
Right.
you know,
Now,
either architecturally or other ways,
Right.
reduce.
can I suggest something else? And I think this should be taken seriously. Like I was reiterating what I said about another comment. Can you provide a compliant proposal? Proposal that complies with current zoning. That would be
My
a start.
understanding is
I don't know any reason why
Yeah,
you
Kevin,
haven't shown that you can't
we can't
be
go there.
compliant. No.
We offer the city
code didn't
council
say
two options.
that they
Kevin,
don't need to comply. It just
take
needs
a-
to provide them a number of units. Can you provide the number of units complying with current zoning?
So that was addressed in the memo from Nick Ward-Willis last month, that's in the packet from March, that basically what they're proposing is,
It's compliant,
It's
so
compliant.
don't go there.
Okay.
Anything else, board? I also think, look, there was what I would consider a few, how do I say this kindly, misreadings of the requirements of the earlier signed plan relative to mechanical screening. We don't want that to happen again. So I'm not, I want to then, if we have this forum, make sure that the city council is aware that just because it happened and it was fixed, I don't necessarily think it was fixed to the greatest extent, but it wasn't what was proposed, it wasn't what was promised, it wasn't what we agreed to and spent a lot of time working with the applicant on, only to then have it change somehow for some reason in construction, and then only for this, I don't know, it was the city or somebody to say, this doesn't look right. Why didn't they comply? And then for some scramble to create some secondary fix that wasn't what was originally approved
So if I may-
either.
I'm
So
sorry.
let's not do it again. So that's, again, something I'd like to point out to the city council for whatever it's worth in their conversation with the applicant when they're at public hearing. You just got to build what is approved.
If I may, I 1,000,000% agree, and I could say for Barry as well, it's something that bothers us a lot. There is a longer story as to how that happened, which I'm not going to get into, but we don't like, if there was a way to put the original outcome, the original concept back as the actual outcome, we would, and we're committed on the next building to making sure every detail is done properly.
That's great.
And we did include that in the end notes of the EAF, and happy to have that included in resolution. And
Yep.
make
There
sure
was,
we
there was
comply.
also some misunderstanding about light poles as well. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again either.
Oh, the Central Hudson, yes.
Yeah.
I fully understand that, and
Um,
I would love for everything to be underground. Maybe there will be that opportunity when the rail trail gets built.
What else? Board.
Also, to the point in terms of the massing and the architectural design, the architect has, and still is, spending a lot of time trying to figure out every which way to minimize the effect. We understand that the volume and, you know, the effect is bigger. And there's a lot of details I think we'll be able to further, you know, if the concept is approved, get into by site plan, but we're continuing to work on that.
And look, I got to tell you, you know, I'm all for consistency, but how do I say this nicely? You know, it's great that there's the trail. And, you know, there's obviously the proximity of the building to the trail. But I got to tell you, the experience of this thing looming over you when you're walking along that trail is disconcerting. Just the way you're not met with anything welcoming. You're basically met with a black concrete wall with a bunch of balconies hanging over you. So, and you know, again, look, I guess when I was looking at that photograph, my memory is a much less growth, and maybe I'm also responding to the fact that a lot of the plantings that, you know, were proposed and are in place, they're not mature yet. When I'm talking about between the trail and the building, it's messy. And, you know, it's just the experience of walking along that trail. You got the beautiful creek on one side, and then you've got this giant thing looming over you on the other. It's not what I would consider optimal. And, you know, again, you meet the letter of the law, you comply, you got the trail, you put a building there, but it's these kinds of details that really end up pissing me off. When you're coming into the community and you're creating environments and you're not thinking about the human experience. And again, could go in one ear, out the other, and you don't actually have to listen to me, but God damn it.
I agree.
If it doesn't irritate the hell out of me when that those things aren't taken into consideration. So please, and again, I don't know how we can formulate this into an observation or an advisory opinion back to the council, but I'm getting so tired of people saying, well, it complies with code. So, but if it complies with code, but it doesn't blend and it doesn't enhance and it doesn't inspire, it's just a, pardon my French, effing waste of an opportunity. So look, there are many positive things about what you've done right now, and by hook or by crook, we got there, and it's not a complete albatross, but when it comes to these little details, please think more carefully about them. And again, I'm not going to delineate all of them. I'm just giving you one example. But I'm getting really sick and tired of people building in our community and placemaking and not thinking about these small details and the human experience. So please give it some deep consideration.
I hear you loud and clear. And it might be cliche, but we build buildings to
I get
try.
it.
Yep.
You built the two buildings that are there now. So I'm sharing this with you, and I get it that you agree, but I haven't seen it from you. So that's why I'm emphasizing it, and that's why, again, I've seen it happen too many times. And you're telling me this now, and I want to believe you, but I don't until I see it. And I'm going to emphasize it the way I'm emphasizing it until I see it. So my apologies, but I've been doing this way too long to be promised all up and down, because it's not just you, it happens all the effing time. Developers say, yes, 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 we spend all of this time, us volunteering our time. Yes, 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 and here it's on our plans and it's approved, and you go and build something different. And we can't think of everything for you. We can't design everything for you. Just think about these things, please.
I hear you loud and clear.
I'll get off of my high horse.
And we're happy to take a look at that part of the trail, and the overbearingness of the buildings is something we've talked about many times. We're happy to hear
Thank you.
Any type of input.
Anything else, board? Do we have a couple, I think 3 things?
I actually have 5.
5 things?
Well, I distilled that last discussion into discuss ways to make the Greenway Trail experience more welcoming.
Oh, thank you.
For the human experience.
For the human experience.
For the human experience.
If I may ask also quickly, though.
Condensed my tirade.
DocuWare does the same thing. We have a giant, container ship on one side of the street, and then we have this long train on the other side of the street, and our trails are in shadow.
Yeah. Thank you. What was the
So
other?
the other ones are, the city council should review visuals from the 3 viewpoints described in Lankentelli's memo. A comment that the proposed buildings represent a significant height increase from the creek side. This is a concern because of the scale of the buildings, which is more significant than originally planned and approved. Discuss ways to reduce the volume of the proposed buildings, address adequate screening of rooftop mechanicals, and discuss ways to make the Greenway Trail human experience more welcoming.
Perfect. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Brilliant. Wow. Yes.
Just one thing we didn't discuss at all that we did include in the updated concept plan, we're focused on the southern side of the site. We did make a few, in our submission, we had a few updates to the northern side of the concept plan with the dog park, and the pollinator garden, and just alterations on the Greenway Trail there. So I just wanted to know if the board had any comment on that.
Look, again, I'm all for a dog park. I'm all for a pollinating garden. Whatever modifications you make to the Greenway Trail, all 3 of those things, just do the right thing, please.
We're trying.
Don't
We
half-ass it.
spent a lot of money redoing the entire north side of the Greenway Trail to make it as welcoming and as nice as possible. And
There's some very nice moments along the trail. So,
we
but
wanted
yes,
to
again,
continue the same way when you get past the buildings. I hear you loud and clear.
yeah.
Should we include in the list of comments that the board does support the inclusion of the dog park and the pollinator garden?
Sure. As long as they don't half-ass it.
It's a
Yep.
public dog park or private?
It'll be public. Everything will be publicly accessible during whatever the Greenway hours are.
Awesome.
Yeah, so maybe that's another comment that you make to the councils, that they consider the additional amenities that the applicant is proposing.
Are these amenities open to the public?
Consider, are they of sufficient size? Are they?
Yeah. That's a good point.
I'm sorry, I missed the...
Yeah, no, John makes a really good point. For those amenities, I think, yeah, again, see, this is where I'm just not clear. Is the city actually reviewing those things for just that?
That's a good question.
So if they are, yes, I think it's a
I
good suggestion. So
missed
John
what John
mentioned
said, I'm
that
sorry.
for those specific amenities, the dog park, the pollinator garden, that, if it is within the city's purview, or if they're expecting to or planning to review those things for sufficient size, or, whatever, aspects of a review that they're, planning to do, that they take those things into consideration.
Whether they're sufficiently sized.
Sufficient in size?
Yeah.
Are they, viable?
For their
I mean, you've got a
purpose,
dog run.
yeah.
How big is this dog run?
Yeah.
You've got a pollinator and community garden. How big are these, and
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So with that list, would you like to call for a motion to send those comments to the city council?
Any other comments? Any other tirades?
One more.
Is this the end of our participation in this?
No, so you
Okay.
still have, so there's 3 things, 3 tasks that you have. One is comments back to the city council on the concept
Okay.
plan, which we just discussed. 2 is your LWRP consistency determination.
Okay.
And 3 is SECRA.
Okay.
So this takes care of the first one, but you still have to take care of the other 2. And the LWRP consistency and SECRA have to be complete before the city council can take action on the concept plan.
Can I make a request?
Yeah.
Is it possible if I get my architect to move whatever he has to move and get those 3 additional renderings in by the deadline, is it possible to ask for the preparation of the documents and if the planning board sees fit, to have the
Preparation of what documents?
The
LWRP
LWRP
and
resolution
secret.
and draft secret documents.
Those are
for
fine,
the
as
next
long as you're
meeting.
not looking for resolution.
Yeah, no, that can't happen until
I was gonna say.
after concept plan and
Yeah.
an application
Yeah,
is
we can,
submitted.
we can have them ready. Okay, so we got 3 things we can act on then. So, motion to share our advisory observations as documented by Jennifer, and if you guys want to have them read again, please do, but otherwise, a motion to formalize those and share them with the city council.
Motion.
Motion by Karen.
Second.
Second by David, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then authorization to Jen's office to draft LWRP consistency statement. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Karen,
Second.
second by David, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, and then it's all unanimous, Mercedes. And then the other being secret neg deck?
We're gonna have to leave some open spaces and this stuff.
Yeah, let's draft it. I think,
visual.
we still want to have, there's a couple of top and tails we got to put on this, but I'm okay with us drafting it.
Yeah.
So I'll make the motion, so I have a second.
Second.
Second by, motion by John, second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Did you aye?
Yes.
Okay.
And I understand that there will be no action if we don't have those 3 on time. Those 3 renderings, is there anything else that I missed? We will work with the architect continuously as well on.
Well, yeah, I mean, look,
scale.
you got your work to do with the city council, you got that public hearing, and then, yeah, when you come back to us, there's maybe other stuff that comes up. So just be ready, we're not, yeah.
I have one question. Are you going to be talking to the Creek Trail Committee? about
Greenway
any of
Trail
this?
Committee?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We've had, I don't know if we, I believe that the latest iteration was already discussed with them, but we continue to talk to them consistently.
I'd be interested in their input on this.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next item on the agenda, review of application for amended site plan approval, 393 Fishkill Avenue, 397 Fishkill Avenue, and 7 Conklin, commercial mixed use, submitted by 397 Fishkill Avenue.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the
Evening.
board. Taylor Palmer with the law firm of Cuddy and Fader on behalf of the applicant. Tonight, I'm joined by Larry Siegel, project architect, Mike Bodendorf, pitch hitting for Dan Kohler, Hudson Land Designer Rich D'Andrea of Colliers. We're also joined by the applicant tonight. Mr. Chairman, we are here before you for our first appearance for an application for amended site plan approval to add 2 additional units and an additional story to the existing building program that was previously approved by your board in 2023. As you recall, the applicant previously received site plan approval from the planning board in April of 2023 for a 3-story, approximately 16,000 square foot building comprised of 12 residential units as well as 6 units, which was comprised of 6 units on each of the 2nd and 3rd floors and a 3,500 square foot commercial space on the 1st floor. The approved project also included 1 BMR unit, and each of the floors is made up of 1 studio, 4 1-bedrooms, and 1 2-bedroom. So for the total units in the building existing. It also included a step down from the 3rd story to the 2nd story along the Conklin Street elevation. The approved project contemplated the demolition of the 3 existing buildings on the property. That included the Four Seasons Sun Home Beauty, unless there are any takers, it's still available. Together with construction of the 3-story mixed-use building, which included a 6,000 square foot footprint. And then there are 33 surface off-street parking spaces that are accessed by a single curb cut that now will be located on Conklin rather than some of the existing for the other buildings there. Terrace patios and tenant spaces are along the side of the building, and then we did have a landscaping throughout the property. So REA is going to go over the site plan in just a minute. Again, the primary change here is just the addition of a recessed or stepped back 4th story to similar to what we see in other districts where the 4th story is presently permitted. And to get us there, by way of brief background for consultants and board members that weren't with us for the project and just recently, Since the project was approved in 2023, right thereafter, the City Council formed what was known as the Fishkill Avenue Concept Committee, or FAC, back in November of 2023. So for the last 2 years, FAC was tasked with reviewing and assessing potential improvements along that Fishkill corridor, I think really as a catalyst to what had been characterized as sort of the postage stamp of Beacon, which was this project, among other reasons and changes, other applications, the Healy properties and the like in that corridor, so we're coming before the board. So following 2 years of the review, FAC issued a report in October of last year, and that provided specific recommendations for this corridor, which is a mixed-use corridor, which includes the property. One of those recommendations was, quote, to allow building heights up to 4 stories throughout the corridor, provided that the 4th story is recessed, and to reduce visual impact. That is the report to the City Council. The project, so with support of that recommendation, considering certain financial constraints experienced by the applicant related to the existing design, we are proposing 2 additional units, which will bring this to 14 total units for this site. That project will be achieved by adding a 4th story, so it will be approximately 48 feet here. The building footprint, commercial square footage, patio, and all the like, everything else remains the same as previously reviewed and approved by the board. The by amending that, will be up to 20,446 total square feet. The new residential unit mix will be the same, but these 2 units will be 2 new 2-bedroom units on the 4th story. As Michael and Aria will touch on just briefly, for the amended approval, there are minor changes to the sidewalks along Fishkill Avenue. I know our consultants have spoken with the city's engineer about some of the work, and I'll let Mike speak more specifically to the city's implementation of new sidewalks and everything in that area. But for now, the sidewalks were revised to reflect the as-built curb conditions based on the city's recent improvements. The project now ties the sidewalk connections to those updated locations. There are certain changes to the facade for Fishkill Avenue and Conklin Street to try and provide visual continuity as it turns the corner. Procedurally, with the planning board's review procedures, we did meet for a pre-submission meeting conference with city staff back in March. As was discussed at that meeting, and as will be presented in our application, we are going to need some area variance relief for the 4th story, as the story and the height together, and we also submitted to Brian's office, similar to 2 applications that were before you in the last 2 or 3 years. We will also need a retaining wall height variance, which is interesting because it hasn't changed from the original approval, but because we had gotten some other projects done recently, we highlighted it here, and we thought we'd point it out that we believe it needs a retaining wall, a de minimis retaining wall height variance. It was not noted or called for under prior building inspector regimes.
So it's just missed?
Yeah. So we called it out, and we pointed it out to Brian, so we're going to seek that relief too, even though it was sort of an approved condition, so to speak. So the asks that will be before the board tonight, and then I'll go to REA just for the renderings, is to try and refer this matter to the Zoning Board of Appeals for that relief. The intention here being to try and get the ZBA's input early as possible, because without it, that part of it won't really, that's a necessary component of this application, is getting their benefit. So you previously adopted a negative declaration for the project. We've updated all the materials that we've submitted to reflect the addition and the changes that the board consider in the future. Tonight is just, ultimately the requests will involve circulating its intent, and serving as lead agency and referring to the Zoning Board of Appeals. But at a later date, it would be considering reaffirming or readopting your prior seeker findings consistent with those changes. Lastly but not leastly, as Rich can touch on, the reason why he's here is because when the project was approved, we were under the old parking regs. So the parking regs have since changed, so we incorporated an analysis to show that we met the old parking regs, but we now meet also the new parking regs, which have the variability. Before it was a firm standard of you have X square footage, you provide Y parking. Now it's you have X square, whatever the use is, it's the range between the two. So with that, I'll turn to RA just to walk you through. Yep.
I'm just fascinated by this element because it's more like a theoretical thing. Is a missed, non-compliant, however approved element then somehow compliant?
I don't think so.
It's still inherently non-compliant.
Right.
Just
building inspector determination can be changed too,
Yeah.
right? So it's only as right.
Just missed.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
I just want to correct one thing. Taylor mentioned reaffirming or readopting the prior neg deck. That's sort of true with respect to some of the elements, but we do need to look at the changes. Like there are changes that are being proposed, so it's going to be an amended neg deck that reviews the
Right.
changes and incorporates those changes.
Yeah, it's not just a reaffirming.
Right.
Yeah.
So just wanted to clarify that for the record.
Thanks.
They could, they'll only add that to the secret regs, then we could say it one way forever. I was going to bring up the secret case, but I'm not going to go there right now.
Please don't. I'm already irritated enough.
No, you'd get a kick out of it.
It's delightful.
I promise that whatever Taylor said is code compliant. Yeah, so essentially it's the same application that we had before. We're adding that partial fourth story. One thing that came up in the original review was, there's a lot of discussion about how much brick there was at the corner, and should we arrange that differently to have it turn the corner a little bit differently. So we could go back to the original approved version, but I looked at one where instead of all the brick, we have some of the siding turning that corner. So I just wanted to get your take on that.
Could you show us what was approved?
Yeah.
Yeah, why? I don't understand. If it's already approved, and we've already spent time talking about it.
Yeah, no, I remember, it's a new application essentially, so I just wanted to give you that option to either look at this or just stay with what, was originally approved.
All right, well, since you brought it up, what was originally approved?
It's right here.
We'll zoom in.
Oh, we can't see that.
And then, okay.
Yeah, there was an extensive discussion about this.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah,
revised.
Because we're here again, I just wanted to give you that option. So there's a lot of brick on the corner.
Oh,
right.
So what you're proposing is significantly different.
Yeah, it lightens the brick look a little bit.
It's a little cheaper.
No, that's not the point. It came up, there was extensive discussion about that. Yeah.
Yeah, what we had discussed, if I recall, what we had discussed was how awkward the two little brick piers were originally, and then you infilled it in with brick so that it didn't present like a sort of this awkward, sort of superfluous brick element, right?
Yeah,
that was
I think
on
there
the
was a
edge.
number of discussions about that, but yeah.
The one side has your patented bay, with the piers and the windows inside, and then the infill with the less expensive infill on either side, bracketing it, and then the other side is turned into something else. So, I don't know why. I thought that we had done a lot of work on that originally.
Yeah, but you know what? That's also, just because we're looking at it again, I just offered that option, but
Yeah.
we could certainly go back to.
I don't
Now
see
that
how.
I'm looking at your new,
I almost like the old.
you like the older one better?
I do.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. There's something,
It just, the other thing was that because we're adding the fourth story, and there's some additional, mass.
I don't know,
going
there's
there.
something a little bit more balanced about this one. But what I would say is that if we do go down this road on the new one, why would you change up just that corner? Just keep it green.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it consistent.
Yeah, just let it turn, yeah.
Personally,
That'll work better.
I prefer this one to that old one.
Yeah,
I just
and-
think there's
and
a
we can
better,
Yeah, I just wanted to,
The old one's a little top-heavy.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
better,
the step back kind of solves that, right? Stepping it back for the fourth story.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
It gets rid of that
Yeah.
chunk on the top, and then if you go green, it'll make more sense.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I think the color consistency will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be highlighted at the corner
but-
like that, but,
But don't you think the corner should be brick? Even admitted, it's been a long time, but there was a huge overhang.
not necessarily. Yeah.
I think it'll look cool if it's green.
I could, I understand what you're trying to do. That corner becomes kind of a knuckle, and it's sort of emphasizing the,
Yeah, and also just because we have
anchoring
that additional, fourth floor mass, just wanted to lighten up the corner a little bit.
yeah, but, it's funny what a little bit of time and space will do. It's clunky.
But why can't, I mean, it's the top that's the issue. Like, that's what you're trying to stop, not the brick.
No. Yeah, Kevin, just
The
look
top
at,
steps back.
look at the old one versus the new one.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I'm getting it, but my point being that.
And we can't hear you.
Yeah.
My point being that the
Can you
corner.
separate the two tabs so we can see them side by side?
Hello?
Oh, come on.
I'm not a computer expert.
Wait, what?
Taylor, you do the math and the.
Oh, he's math.
He's the
and
IT guy,
computing.
too.
Triple threat.
Oh, you have to go to the sheet.
And then go to the box on the right,
Yeah, where's your sheet?
Oh, boy.
Is that guy, this, is that guy? No, that's-
Yeah.
There's been too many things on the screen.
Oh, my.
No, they want you to show this on the same screen. But now yeah, no, it's here. But you're zoomed in so far.
If you go to,
I got you.
you got it.
We need some music.
Yeah, right. So we got this
Oh,
one.
we're getting there.
Why is it on this page?
Wait. Wrong project.
Hold on, Alt tab, everybody's friend. If you don't know this
It's
one.
interesting to see how other people do.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
My point is that if that infill, rather than being that light-colored siding,
Yeah.
right, was brick, like the original, I don't know about the top, maybe you can bail on the top, but then that pier, that's sort of this leftover vertical element, doesn't seem so sort of tacked on, right? It's just, there's a strong brick corner, and then there's a lighter periphery, like the wings go out from there. You see what I'm saying? So the corner is a little more anchored.
I mean, I think it could go either way. I just wanted to, let you take a look at it again. I mean, I like the.
I like the original design better.
Yeah, I like the siding version just because it, I think it works with the additional mass on the fourth floor and it kind of turns the corner. Yeah.
It's just, it's got better proportions, it's just a little bit more elegant. And look, just because you've introduced the idea, again, there's something odd about the fact that that corner in the new version becomes a different material. So I think what I'm hearing Kevin saying, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, is if in the new version, that infill that's currently light gray or brick, that might be more, yeah. So I tend to agree with that. I think that's an option that would be acceptable. But I also think, would you then do the same thing to the south corner?
I think it's a choice you have. I think it could work either way, personally. What I like is this, having the corner seem like a building, it has the language of brick construction.
Yeah.
We've talked about before, rather than painted on brick veneer. You see what these are all wood frame buildings with brick.
No, I know.
veneers. But some of them express in the way that we conventionally understand brick construction to be. And I think the original corner kind of didn't do that in a way because of the overhang that's the awkward overhang. But the pier that's left over, it's not something anybody would ever do.
No, you're right.
Leftover part of and added on in addition to a building,
That's why, for that reason, I think those piers just sort of on their own, standing there, are kind of awkward. I would then say, yes, I agree. I think brick infill at the north corner and at the south corner would make more sense visually. And then you have this sort of unit in the center. That's the green.
So from the stair tower all the way over.
No. So the gray piece on the north corner, just change that to brick.
Right.
And again, I would work on the proportions of the windows. They're a little goofy. They're a little long and narrow.
Yeah, and if it's brick, it'll change.
Yeah. So change that gray stuff to brick, and then keep the middle part green, whatever that's wood clad. Is that what that is, or is
It's
that
a siding,
metal?
yeah.
Sorry?
It's a hardy side.
Hardy, okay. Then, as you move to the south corner, that's currently shown in this iteration green, change that also to brick.
From the stair wrapped
Yeah,
around?
yeah, wrap it.
Okay.
And it's simpler, right?
Yeah, I think it makes, I mean,
It's stronger in a way.
It's a lot of brick though on the south end. It's not as
Well, it's not about the money. It's about, how comfortable it seems.
Well, I mean, also the,
It's not matching the other side, you're not creating two.
Yeah, I mean, the brick
He's worried
corner
about
is
the
a corner,
massing of what it's gonna look
the
like.
south
Like a
end
massive
is
brick on that
an
side.
end of a
Concept
lot.
sounds cool.
I don't know, it could work either way. Yeah, I just think, yeah.
Or just make it
Yeah.
green.
I mean, if you look at this one and try
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, study it, because, I don't know, I'm still responding to, Kevin's point about those piers just being a little kind of awkward. I don't know. I'm not going to design it for you. Make it good.
Yeah, just wanted to open it up.
Make it better. All right. So let's just talk, so there's obviously that significant change, the addition of the story. I'm not sure if I caught this right, but are there other additional sort of more
That was it.
minor
That
changes?
one you just went through was the change.
That physical change. So you mentioned something about curb cuts. Is there anything
So
different?
Mike, do you want to speak to that more specifically? What we're going to, I think John may have the same commentary, so
Yeah, I just want to understand.
talk to it now, or-
I just want to understand in total what, from last application to this application, is changing, whether it's obviously these big things, get it, but if there's small things too, let's just go through those.
Yeah, mainly, site plan wise, we adjusted the sidewalk. We actually eliminated one connection to the DOT sidewalk on the left side. I don't know what direction we're looking here. You mentioned the existing curb cut. There is an existing driveway curb cut there. We're going to eliminate that, eliminate the ramps.
Where is
that
this?
Drop it to the grade.
But that was also in the last application.
Yes, it was.
So again,
Yeah.
just things that have changed between
Okay,
then
so it
and
was
now.
mainly just the sidewalk.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, the
One
city,
connection to the sidewalk
got it.
got eliminated.
Adjusting it to the as-built conditions of the sidewalk.
I see. Okay,
and one of the things we're asking the applicant to look at right now is actually installing the utilities for this project, since the city will be repaving Fishkill Avenue completely in the following month. Last we want is them coming in and digging up a newly paved road to close off the existing utilities.
so the idea would be for the applicant to install their utilities.
Service
the-
their building off of the new utilities that are coming off of Conklin, abandon their utilities, and then the city can move through
Yeah.
and pave Fishkill out.
So that's almost like building putting the future in, right?
Yeah,
That's the way-
stubbing
okay.
in for the
Yeah.
future, hopefully, to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, that would be ideal, right? It'd save the ripping up a brand-new road and sidewalk.
Yeah, we don't want to do that, so we're looking into how we get that done
Yeah,
in
okay.
that short time frame. But
That's considerate, thank you. Okay, so then, do you have your notes?
Yeah, so just, there's a height variance that Taylor noted, and I just want to note more about the Fishkill Avenue Concepts Committee. So that report was issued last year. That is going to, recommendations from that, including zoning recommendations, are intended to be taken up by the council this year, in the next month or two. So just want to note that, and the exact language from that document. So this is not regulation, so they still do need the variance right now. But the recommendation from the committee was, recommends building heights up to 4 stories within the mixed-use corridor, which is State Street to Blackburn Avenue, provided that the 4th floor is recessed to reduce visual impacts. And just also noting for the board that there are certain areas that the committee recommended view shed analyses where height should be kept to 3 stories, but this is outside of those points that were recommended. So just clarifying that piece. I did do the site plan comparison, so as we just kind of talked through, besides the elimination of the one connection to the sidewalk, I didn't see any site plan changes. Compliance, also the only compliance aspect that was impacted was lot area per unit, and they're still within the required lot area per unit. 1,500 square feet is required per unit, and so they have enough for the 2 additional units being added. The parking requirements have changed, so there's a minimum of 25 spaces and a maximum of 60 spaces. As the applicant noted, 33 spaces is still being proposed, so within that range. And then my one other comment was drawing the board's attention to the exterior change on the corner,
Yeah.
which we just talked through.
Great, thank you. I'm curious, are there any below-market units here?
Yeah, one.
One,
Yeah, by
okay.
code requirement, yep.
All right, Mr. Russo, anything else
No, sir.
you want to add? Okay, board?
What was the question?
Do you have any other questions, comments, thoughts, musings, tirades?
I used all everything.
Used up? Okay. All right. What else can we do for you at the moment?
Just seeker, initiate seeker, and then referral to zoning board for height, story, and retaining wall
Yeah.
height.
So wait, we don't have to notice our intent. We're already lead agency, right?
So when we do amended negative declarations, we usually recirculate
Oh, we
so that
gotta
all the
recirculate.
involved agencies know
All right.
what's before you and have an opportunity to weigh in.
Let's send out the bat signal.
Authorize.
Yeah.
preparation of a notice to serve as lead agency.
Motion by David.
Second.
Second by Karen. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Gotta get your timing right.
Had a coffee a couple hours.
Everyone's got some.
Sorry, what was the other thing?
Referral to the zoning board.
Yes, so motion to refer this application for its necessary variances to the zoning board.
Motion.
Motion by Karen.
Second.
Second by David, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One more, and then I get to tell you my quick seeker story. But the ask, since it's seeker related, is if we'd consider authorizing Jennifer to prepare a draft negative deck or amended neg deck to include those limited changes to the building height, so that, because procedurally, the zoning board will not be able to act until seeker's complete.
I get
Because
it.
this is a coordinator review.
I
Yeah,
don't really think we're binding us, committing ourselves if we do this, so
yeah, I agree.
why not?
Yeah.
All right.
The only thing I'll mention is there is not 30 days between tonight's meeting and your next meeting in May. And the significance of that is for notice of intent, you have to either wait 30 days or hear back from all of the involved agencies to
Which
say
is
that
quite
they-
limited here, and so the applicant will have to reach out to DOT and/or county health.
So you're
So-
gonna sort of force their
We're going to try and
response.
force them to write you a letter that
Okay.
says, we do not.
We do not, okay.
I just
object.
want to make sure that the
That's fine.
board is aware
Look,
that,
if you
you know,
can-
even if
if
we
you can
draft
get those
documents,
responses,
there
then-
might be procedural
I understand.
reasons why we can't move forward.
Yeah,
even
okay,
if
and
you're already
the applicant
substantively-
is aware of that too.
Yep.
So, okay.
All right, so I'll make a motion to draft a proposed negative secret declaration.
Second, by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
And just one point of information from Jennifer, to the extent we didn't get to chat about it. For a public hearing, will that be scheduled, can we schedule that for next month? Or, I mean, does this require a public hearing, and
Don't we
would it
gotta
be
do
scheduled
secret
for
first?
next
Does
month?
require a public hearing.
Yeah, so I guess I would ask that the board consider scheduling the hearing, and of course, it would remain open during the zoning board's process. There is no subdivision, there's no other
Yeah.
components.
Straight up site plan.
We need,
Well, what's the advantage of scheduling that before the
Secret.
the zoning boards
yeah.
passed on this, just on the chance that that results in plan revisions?
Well, it means if they do,
I mean,
if they do
it's fine, we
approve, you
can-
come
we can
back and
wait.
you've got open
Yeah.
public hearing.
We're
but
going
we
to be
still have
before you
secret to
again,
do.
period, so. Yeah, it doesn't change much timing.
You're going to have a public hearing open for perhaps longer period of time.
Right,
than
the
you
intent may be that
otherwise
public
would.
hearing comments are closed, so that if the zoning board acts on the following meeting, it won't be the first public hearing at the following month. Zoning board also will have a public hearing, too.
My
The
brain's
other
too
question
tired
is,
right now
do
for
you
this.
have all the
We've got 12
information
months.
that
No,
both
we got
you
6
and
more
the
months to make
public
that for
should
this project.
have in order to open that public hearing. So
Yeah.
based on John's comments and Natalie's comments, is there any information that you're looking for from the applicant that
Yeah, I mean, I think,
should be available?
You really can't close the public hearing until the zoning board.
Correct.
Correct, yeah.
And that's not gonna be by the next meeting.
No.
Right, I think we're just
Your
trying to
meeting's gonna be
solicit those
before the
feedbacks
zoning
so that if the zoning board, if I may, at the next meeting, which would follow your next planning board meeting, completes its review, if they were to grant the relief, then when we come back to you, and I guess that point we'd be in June.
Yeah.
Then hopefully either the public will have commented or we'll have been able to address those comments and not be just starting that process to push it further into the summer. That's all.
I get it. I mean, there's no harm, really. It's not,
Right, we're
again,
committing
as
to a
you say,
longer
it's not
hearing
It's not
process.
committing us to anything specific. All right, I'm in support of it, fine. So I'll accept a motion to notice public hearing for, it would be June's meeting.
May
For May.
12th.
He's asking for May,
Oh, May,
for next month.
for next month's meeting.
Yep.
Okay,
Motion.
motion by Karen,
Second.
second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Quick secret story. I'll get you out of here. It's late. So
Oh,
fast.
come on.
So the New York DEC, our environmental regulatory agency that promulgates the regulations for seeker,
Yeah.
adopted new regulations, which were challenged in court, and then the DEC lost on not complying with seeker. Anyway.
What?
Precisely. Think that one through.
Okay. You can't do this to me so late at night. Safe home. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, Tom. Drive safe. Okay, so we're going to continue our miscellaneous business. One item under that, and that is to consider a request for one-year extension of amended special permit, site plan, and certificate of appropriateness, hotel and restaurant, 1113 Walcott Avenue, submitted by Prophecy Theater. Oh, hi.
I'm here if you need any information. I don't know if you want me to say anything, but yeah, we are requesting a one-year extension. My name is Gavin Hecker, and I'm representing the owners here for the hotel and restaurant on 113 Walcott Avenue.
Yeah. Okay. I don't imagine there's any other mitigating factors here that would require us to either look at this closely or disapprove it, so.
No, I think
any
I know
questions?
what's going on here.
Yeah, again.
You're becoming familiar. I have to start sending you Christmas cards or something.
All right.
I have to say that the letter that Gavin put together was very good. It hit all the points that it needed to hit.
Right.
So, right.
Great. All right, so motion to approve one-year extension of amended special permit site plan and certificate of appropriateness.
Motion.
For 1113 Walcott. Motion by Kevin.
Second.
Second by David, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right, we'll see you next year. So then we go to architectural review. First item on, wait, one of them was pulled, right? Mercedes, the last one? 5 lots, thank you. So we have certificate of appropriateness, 48 Beacon Street facade.
48 Beacon.
48 Beacon Street, hi. What do you have for us? Oh, we've seen this before.
Good night.
Hi, good night.
Thank you.
So what are we planning here? What's going on?
Floyd Johnson with Cadman Design. I'm the designer on the project. I brought several samples over for the board to review.
Okay.
The asphalt roof will be Hunter Green. The board wants to review the one right
That one right there.
Okay.
Hunter Green. The siding will be Sunrise Yellow, and that's the 4/4. It would be that yellow right there.
Okay. Looks a little different on the screen.
Yeah.
The windows will be vinyl clad windows, vinyl on the exterior, and it's a wood construction, and the wood would be on the interior.
Right. And you're planning, those are intended to be white? Those are intended to be white, the windows on the exterior? And then the trim around the windows on the exterior is also white?
Yeah, the trim, the unit comes pretty much complete. It's a maintenance-free window, so, you know,
Yeah.
you have to get out
Get
there
it.
and paint it every year or whatnot.
Okay. I got a question for you. You've got, on your elevation drawing, you got two different yellows? Is that intentional?
Can't hear you. Do what?
On your elevation drawing, here, the one we're looking at, the part of your application, you've got two different yellows.
Yeah, there's an existing building, and then we're referring to the addition.
I understand. They're two different yellows. Is that intentional?
No, because that particular yellow is just, it's an old yellow. And even when we put the vinyl up next to it, we can't match that yellow.
Oh, okay. So you're keeping the old yellow, and it's different than the new yellow.
Yes. In most cases, when you find the older buildings like that, it's very difficult to match the colors because of the weather.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you mind? Do we see those?
The books?
Yeah, thank you. And then, question for you. The drawing shows the porch railings. They come across as red. Is that?
red.
Oh.
Here's the original.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, this is the home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the original yellow.
That's, what do you call it? Stucco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So trying to match your yellow to what they did is very difficult.
Yep.
That
Oh,
one,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
We're going with that, hunter green. And then we want to use this here. So even if we went with this one, we still would not even be close to that.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to match that color. And again, like I said, it's weather, the dirt gets in it, it's very difficult.
Just got to repaint it. It's time to repaint.
Yeah.
Now, are we only reviewing the finished materials?
And then
Yes.
The elevation?
Yeah, then the door this is a solid wood door, which is on the back.
Yep.
And then the front door, which I really don't have a picture of, is a steel insulated door, painted mahogany.
Ah, okay.
This one?
Yes, that would be the door. And that's a steel insulated door.
And which facade, that is the west elevation, just the front?
That's the front. The one you just had, that's the front. And then the one with the wood, with the 3 windows, that's the rear door.
Okay.
And these doors are 42 inches wide. The house is basically designed as a ADA because of the children that the owner has.
Did you see the elevation? There's, the front doors are on the same facade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, I'm shocked you didn't bring up the shutters.
What, lack thereof? Or?
No, there's shutters that are much narrower. than the
Oh, I didn't even see those.
And they're missing on the ones adjacent to the door.
Yeah.
See that? It's just it's an odd condition, right?
Yeah.
Usually when you have windows like that, the way normally you would have like siding on either side of them. You wouldn't have a window like that right up against an inset. I'm assuming this door is inset a little?
Yeah,
There'll be some sort of difference, right?
Yeah.
I'm just,
Okay.
you don't have to go through the whole thing, and I'm not
Are you?
giving you trouble.
But what I would suggest, and John, I'm sure you see this once you look at it a little closer, is that you change either the size of those windows so that you have siding or trim between the door opening and the window, right? Because the way it looks now is the window edge goes right up. It's just really, it's a difficult thing to build because you're gonna have framing members on the corner and other things. So it actually won't end, it'll be difficult to make what you've drawn as a practical matter. And it looks better if you have the windows surrounded by siding as a traditional house would be, right? Rather than the window on a corner, which is how you would design, let's say, a modern house, right? Modern houses have like corner windows and all these things that take advantage of different ways of building stuff. So that looks awkward because it's not the way conventional construction is done. You'll have to, in order to make it look like this, you'll have to, the guy will have to cantilever, do all sorts of fancy things, right? So what I'm suggesting is that you take care of that now and move that window across. And I would bail on the shutters, and I would put trim on the windows, which is a tricky thing with vinyl. As you know, if you've worked with vinyl, the vinyl, they just make little things that it dies into, and it looks like a cheap opening, right? Where the door ends, where the window ends. So if you can, and I'm
Well, that was the wife's talk, I would like to see shutter, so we try to accommodate.
But as John said, it strikes a lot of people really weird, right? When the shutters, if you shut those shutters, if they don't actually enclose the window, right? So the shutter should be half of the width of the window. That's, if it's a U, then it looks like a, and a lot of times you don't have the room for it. You want a bigger window and you're just putting it on as some like a window dressing or a doily. And you're paying money for something that doesn't make it look better, in my opinion, right? I'm just letting you know. This is, and John, you've spent many.
Most of the time it's just decoration.
No, I understand, but there's sort of like conventional things that end up not looking traditional.
Are you
right?
married to the shutters? Are you married to the shutters? Do you really need them? Yeah.
Wife's idea.
I know you're married, and that's important that you know.
He probably don't even mind taking them off, it was a suggestion.
I understand.
You know.
Yeah.
They just wanted the house to look a little different.
I get it. Yep.
Yeah.
He just wants to get his project done.
Yeah.
If you say, if I told him to get rid of the shutters, he'd say, no problem.
Yeah. That's one thing I would request, is that you don't just leave the shutters off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you can match one way to, because you have to terminate the siding, right? Because you're putting siding. So if you do it in a way similar to the adjacent building, it'll just look more comfortable, you know?
So, yeah, okay. So what we're gonna do is we're okay, are we okay with the color, yellow?
Yeah.
We're okay with the green roof?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna remove the shutters, right? And, yeah, I mean, it looks like you've got some trim indicated around the exterior windows, right? And you're gonna need that, you're gonna need some way to terminate the siding anyway around the windows. So my recommendation is that you, yeah.
It doesn't need to be that wide if you don't want it to be.
It doesn't need to be as wide as the original building, because that's a whole different kind of language. You're basically taking a masonry building with coins on the corners and putting, you know, a completely different kind of style and aesthetic on. But I would just say, again, I'm not going to prescribe the width of the trim around the windows, but that you go with something a little more robust. And, you know, if it's anywhere between, I don't know, 4.5 to 6 inches, that's probably fine. Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that a good guess?
Good guess.
You can go back and try to get something close to it, or
No.
maybe just tell them, look, of course you can mix paint.
Oh, you're talking about the color? No. It's don't, look, then you'd have to come back to us, you don't want to do that. So, so I'm trying to get you an approval for what you've presented. And look, I get it, you know, hopefully at some point when the old part of the house needs repainting, you just paint it the color that you painted the new part of the house, and then it'll come into matching. But anyway, that being said, we're okay with the yellow, we're okay with the green roof, we're okay with the white trim, we're okay with the style of the windows, the wood door. Just beef up, make the trim around the windows a little bit more robust, anywhere from 4.5 to 6 inches, with a proper window sill. We getting all this, Mercedes? And then we're okay. You might need, and I talked to Brian about this, but it looks like you might need some railings on your steps going up to the front door there. On the new building.
Are there more than 3 risers?
Looks like there's,
Mine's not working, I can't get
If there's
Oh, there's 2 steps?
Oh, it's
Two
only
steps,
two?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and just make sure you have the proper depth landing there. I can't see it here, but, you know, you just need to be in compliance with code, that's all. That's all I'm saying.
and I think if you make them like this, it's 6-inch riser, and
just
you're good.
Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't need a rail.
I got you.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, this, I don't know if it came here, but this was approved, isn't there a foundation in the ground already for this? Is this the property?
Yeah, this was way back.
Yeah, like, this got an approval, and I don't know, again, I don't know if it came here, but it got approval and a permit
Yeah.
way before me, and there's actually a foundation in the ground for this to be built, and
Yeah.
for whatever reason,
Yeah,
it
it
only
was,
went to
it was
foundation,
approved.
it stopped. I don't
And
know.
what happened was the original contractor pretty much ripped them off. He tabled the project, trying to sue him to get his money back. And then he hired another contractor, and then he got back in touch with me again and said, I got a new contractor, but this contractor, to me, don't seem to be any better. Because I told him I was out of the country, come to the meeting. I gave him the stuff. He didn't show up. And now he don't talk to me. So I'm like, wait a minute. If you're not gonna talk to me and don't wanna come to the meetings, you're a contractor. You're supposed to know this stuff.
Yeah, it's hard finding good contractors. Sorry about
But
that.
he's had a very difficult time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear.
Yeah, it's too bad. Well, we wish him luck.
Yeah.
And I think with those notes, which I think Mercedes captured, we'll go ahead and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by James.
Second.
Second by Karen
Yeah.
and Kevin.
Yeah.
Karen, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
So let me just run through this real quick. Remove the shutters.
Yes, please.
For the railing on the front door one. Paint the old building.
No. I'm not, we're not saying you have to do that.
Oh, okay.
And again, as far as the railing, I was just making an observation.
Need the railing.
You don't need it, but just again, it just needs to be in compliance with code. So, yep, that's all. And then, so, yep. The other thing, though, we did note, in addition to the shutters, is the trim around the windows.
Yes.
Okay? You got that one?
On the window.
Okay. Otherwise, you're good. With a proper, yes, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Good night.
Okay, so, next item, certificate of appropriateness, 9 Alice Street, new single-family house. Hi. Okay, living the dream.
Oh, it sounds like you had a rough night tonight. I'm here for 9 Alice. I'm already approved with one set of plans, let's call it, one drawing. But I made a couple of changes. One change that I made, I should say, is I put a metal roof over the top of the garage, and it wasn't on my original plan. And there's the second one, which wasn't clear on my original approval, so I just brought it up to Brian's attention, not Brian, Corey's attention, is it did specify vertical or horizontal cable rail. So I have horizontal siding, so I went with a horizontal cable rail over front, just to, oh, excuse me, vertical.
Yeah.
Vertical.
I see.
And the original application shows black brick columns, and I just didn't want to add any more to the front of that house, so I just wanted to put a square, simple column.
Yeah, that's not. You haven't necessarily put them in yet, right?
No, I have not. That's exactly what it looks like as it is now.
What color is the other columns going to be?
I propose black,
Yeah.
but I'm open
Makes
to
sense.
doing it the same color as the house. if
No,
you-
I think black would balance out
Black
the
look good.
volume of the
Right,
garage
that's what I
door.
figured.
The metal roof looks good too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's fine.
And,
vertical.
and because of the grade, I don't know if I put it in for application also, because of the grade, the right side of the front porch doesn't meet I'm too high off the ground, so I want to put a piece of rail on the right side of the front porch to match the upper rail.
I think we said that when it came through. Anyway.
I don't remember. Is the railing represented on your,
There's no rail on the front porch as at the original.
on the original? But what you're saying is that you're putting the rail in?
Just on the right side, just an 8-foot section on the right side.
Right on here
Yeah.
to match that.
Oh, to match what's up
Correct.
upstairs?
It would just
Okay.
be that brought down here.
All right.
That look good.
Any questions, thoughts,
No?
critiques?
And the drawings are just reflecting what was already approved, not what you're proposing, as far as the columns go, right, and the metal?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by David.
Second.
Second by Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Gordon.
Luck.
You guys have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
Good night.
Next item, certificate of appropriateness, 142, 146 Main Street facade.
What do we got now?
That was another example of the developer doing what he wanted and getting caught.
Ah, you caught him. Good job.
Corey caught him. I haven't been out to the house, but that's exactly,
Okay,
didn't ask anything.
good. That's how it should
At least they
work.
were good changes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Oh, boy.
Oh, we got a facade? No, facade.
Is this the last one? Oh, no. Oh, we got a taco? This is a new taco.
It's unclear to me what that is. Yeah, it's.
Really?
And then I brought it into the camera, I'm like, guys, they have wrong on taco, and I showed him this, I was like, does a taco thing is incredible. Do you want another taco? Charge thing really fast. I just want you to know, don't put fucking rocks in your taco. That's what I'm saying. And then, so that's the first thing before. And then I'm eating like a hot dog there or something. This is years ago. And I pull out like a hair. And I did the same thing, and I'm like, and I get the same response, like, John Max.
That Max.
Where? I was like, so what does that actually become?
Yeah,
They were like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, should I use this adjust? It's from the bottom of the spoon.
Yeah. How would you do anything? Just don't do it, Ken.
Just remove from the plastics and the rocks. But a taco rock, that's the first I've ever seen.
Taco rock. Oh my God, I could have, I was like,
Lucky you didn't pop it too.
don't do this again.
Okay, so that's what they're doing, they're completely
And copy my
Reconfiguring.
They didn't even copy. They didn't know.
It's extra for us.
Combined unit, two stairs, which they need to do this many units. And, well, you know, just because they're redoing the whole thing, so they're gutting the top two floors.
Okay.
And
Mercedes, I have to recuse myself for this, from this one.
Okay.
Right next to where the
Lucky.
All right, what do we got going on?
I do too.
We have your submission material. We can see it. So if this doesn't work, no problem. Just let's.
Yeah, we
let's-
can just talk it through.
Yeah, thank you. Let's walk through it.
it's down the west end, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
I think you
chat.
pinch that one.
So you're doing some infill.
What's that?
Yeah, let's just, if you could,
Okay,
just kind
so
of
I'm
walk
Joe
us through what's going
Forehand.
on.
The owner is Lindley Todd LLC, and basically, existing building, we're going to reduce the amount of exterior wall by tying the second and third floors together. 142, the west portion of the building, is separated, the second and third floor, from 144, 146. So we're going to tie those together, get rid of all the existing fire escapes, add egress stairs, rated corridors, and improve life safety is what we're doing. The only new opening on the facade is actually a new door for the main residential entry on the east facade. Otherwise, we're just replacing all the windows. Although 144 window replacement was done previously, and so that's the window we're going to use. We're going to match those windows. It's a black window, and so all the other replacements will match that product.
Okay. I just have a quick question. So where you're doing the infill, that new beige area with the two windows in it, is that set back from both of the facades?
It's set back, but only about a foot currently.
A foot, okay.
About a foot. It's, the floor plan is a little tight, to get
I understand. Actually, I'm surprised it's a foot. I think that's good.
Yeah.
We would want to see, if those were just continuous, that'd be a little goofy, but yeah, no, I think a foot's good. And then obviously the new cornice. Yeah, it's matching some of the proportions of the old cornice on the
Right, on the
right side.
east side,
Yeah.
144 and 146.
And that's also
To
set
the
back.
right on the screen. Pardon me?
That's also set back?
No.
Well, it's doing the same thing as the face,
cornice.
the cornice, yes.
Yes, the cornice is set back. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap that cornice as it gets to the west corner
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Come back
And then describe, so what happens to the, sort of the frieze, the detail just above the
frieze,
door?
The frieze is going to match the heights generally. The existing friezes on either side don't align perfectly, but it's generally going to align, and profiles are going to be simpler.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about this thing.
Oh, the storefront.
With that frieze, that detail, series of gray detail that comes up across the top of the storefront?
Right. So that actually extends out at our new entrance door there. Not by a lot, just a little. So because the existing storefront cornice frieze on 144 and 146, that bracket projects out quite a bit. We're actually moving that further to the east. So essentially that storefront frieze from 142, we're using the same detail and the same colors, and it's just going to pop out slightly for a little weather protection.
So
to provide some closure as it wraps back to the 144, 146.
Okay, so it's, I see what you're doing with the old, like, dental, whatever that thing is. You're just scooching that over.
Right.
But, so then you've got the new door and sideline and the glass panel above it. Are those also inset a foot?
Nope, that's the existing plane.
I see. So you're creating kind of a roof as it goes back, and then it's going to go up?
Right.
Okay.
Right, a small, small shed. Just
Is the existing brick staying on the first floor, or you're removing all of the existing entrance in that area?
We're removing all that.
It's all
from
okay.
the, we're trying to blend with the 142 storefront to the left.
As opposed to now, it's the,
Right.
it's continuing on from the right.
Yeah. I mean, generally, it's,
And then we're doing the opposite up at the top. The cornice is extending from the right side, the east side.
And what's the cornice is made out of wood, and the awning is made out of wood, right? Painted wood?
It's
not pressed metal or anything. It's not metal. It doesn't.
The existing cornice on 144 to 146, I think there is some metal involved there.
Okay. I don't know if it's, I was just asking, I don't know if it's material, as long as it's painted.
I think we're going to try to use wood.
Okay.
A composite material, not wood. But.
And you're calling out, this happened to you guys before, you're calling out cast stone panels of a particular color and size, right? Is that a material you selected already?
It is not. We're trying to match the panels that are on the right side of the screen. The existing heads, the stone heads at 144.
I see.
146.
yeah, I like how you change it up. It's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Problem trying to match the brick. That was one of our dilemmas.
Don't even try. Yeah, I think the way that you've done this is the right approach.
Mm-hmm. But once again, this happened on the corner building that you guys are doing is like,
I know.
It's like all of a sudden, oh, we can't get it, or you can't do it like that, or whatever. And I don't think I'm not going to say no, right? It's just that I don't
Well,
want there
if
to
it
be
doesn't match what you get approved here, this guy will come find you. So you just
And that's
build
what
you-
we're saying. That's why we're not even saying really what the colors are, except for the windows colors, because we're going to match the existing. We're not trying to change any colors.
And I think that's fine. So just
Okay.
do your level best to
All
do
right.
that.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to
Motion
approve.
by Kevin.
Second.
Second by James. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Good luck. You guys don't make it easy on yourselves every time.
All right, so next item, last item on the agenda, certificate of appropriateness, 178 Main Street, sign. Yeah, Karen.
All right.
Thanks for sitting through all that. Appreciate it.
No, please.
Usually, I feel bad for these certificates of appropriateness because number one, you've got to wait all this time. And number two, all the applicants that come before you make us really grumpy.
I felt bad for you all, so.
So we'll try to be nice. So let's see, you got a sign here, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk us through it.
So there was an existing sign from an old tenant.
Oh, I'm on the wrong one.
They moved out, took their signage. I'm a new business on Main Street, so just wanted to put a sign up. It's really in the exact same place that the old sign was.
Right, so it's just basically, is that all we got? It's basically white, oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's fine.
The white background, black type.
Yes, sir, super simple.
12 by 24.
Yep.
Do we do it? Here you go. We're in.
Are you using the old bracket?
No, they took it with them.
Who does that?
Yeah, I was surprised, but nevertheless, they're putting in.
Taking our bracket, everything else. So you've got a new, is your sign fabricator providing the bracket too?
Yes.
What's the bracket made out of?
The bracket is
Black steel.
scroll metal on chain link. I'm sorry, I'm not a base
Straight arm bracket.
Installation, new
I
bracket.
just see they said
sign.
installation of new bracket and sign, but I don't see that.
Custom fabricated straight
I
up
mean,
bracket.
I asked because obviously this is like a Photoshop thing.
1
or
inch width by
something.
1 inch
Yes,
height.
Yeah,
they
so it-
photoshopped it in.
So, all right, so that sign itself is
Oh, it's a 1 inch.
PVC with
1
vinyl.
inch by 1 inch.
Yes.
It's 1 by 1, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
simple.
it's a
Yeah.
simple black on.
Go for it.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Karen,
Second.
second by Kevin. All in favor?
Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck with everything.
You made it.
Welcome and good luck.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Karen, second by James.
That was
All in
fair.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm opposed.
David's having so much damn fun.
All right, off to karaoke.
Motion by Karen, second by James.
I was